Just ring. Yes. Welcome, guys. Miss y'all. It's been a while. Hope y'all guys like some of the uploads and shorts here on the Chaos Race show. Doing something a little different here and there, trying some things, but we're here. Matter of fact, let me make sure my special guest is in the back. Give me 1 second before I start things off. Ready? All right, hold on. All right. So welcome to all existing and probably new subscribers here in the Chaos Rain Show. As you know, I am Chaos Rain here. The links to follow me are the following, sorry. You can follow me on Twitter at Chaos Rain 7. You could also add me as a friend on Facebook, Eric Rain on Facebook. You could join my Rumble page. As you know, I'm trying to grow that page up nicely so I can go more raw in depth on Rumble a little bit, because I like to bounce from different platforms a little bit, but for that to happen, I need like a couple more followers. I'm not sure how many followers I have on Rumble. Now that I think about it, let me check. Let me take a look. I have not looked. Let's see. Okay, I gained a few followers. Got 9. I think I need like 20 more. 20 more. I don't know. But follow me on Rumble as well. The links in the description. I'll put the links as the conversation ensues. Also, join my Discord service also of the Chaos Rain Show. I upload things, put post little things in it. Like I said, join Discord. You could probably chat with me, throw some ideals, throw certain content that has not been noted. My Discord is open for a lot of people. For those that join Discord, I'm not no stranger to Discord. And like always, interact with me on Discord as well. So join my Discord service. And last but not least, I would love y'all to join the membership, the page of the Chaos Rain Show. As you know, I do have members on here. Now I have not hit members only yet, because I've never try out that feature. Not saying I won't be going to be doing it in the future live streams. So don't be hesitant. Join the membership. As you know, there's 2 tiers of membership of the Chaos Rain Show. 1 tier is Enter the Chaos. I think it's $2.99 for that one, and also Chaos Uncut, which is the more I could say more raw version. That's like more of a $7.99 one. And usually there are certain live streams that split up and it's put on members only. I think the one I did that was the Lady Smoke session, that was very well. It was actually more of the highest viewing per my channel in regards to people watching it. Also, it got a little raunchy a little bit here and there. So, I had some conversation with a few people that's content creators, and I decided instead of just leaving it for the public, I said, that will go to the uncut version. So if you want to know what was on that live stream, you're gonna have to join that tier for that one. But other than that, I gave some snippets earlier on this channel, so you could check it out of what was discussed on it. And that was only partial. That stream alone was almost, I think, close to 5 hours. So yeah, if you wonder why it is uncut and it's on the top tier, you're going to have to join that part of the membership to really find out. That's all I'm going to say. So as I'm waiting for my guests, before we go into my guests, as I'm waiting, let me run this particular stream that I had, or I was somewhat part of, and this kind of baffled me a little bit. In a way that I did not know a good portion of sisters, you know, black women generally, had a certain feeling towards the so-called thuggy thug dudes, the ones that are the Pookies, Raries, the gangster type, and their views of men. I think one particular one was expressing their feelings. So let me find that video for y'all. I'll do a short breakdown of that as I wait for my guests. Let me see. Where's that video? Where is it? All right. Let me see if I can find him. Where is it? Try. Oh wait, never mind. He is here. So I'm going to cancel that. I might pull up still while we have this conversation. So I present to y'all for the first time here on the Chaos Ray Show, a brother that is a traveler, a passport bro, nonetheless. So I bring to you the first time, the one only, Love Crossing Borders. What's
gentlemen,
good,
gentlemen? How you doing, Chaos?
I'm good, man. I'm good, man. You know, I think you're the very first man that I have interviewed that is an actual legit passport brother. And I've talked about it on my channel for
I appreciate that.
So obviously, you know, you're a person, you're showing yourself, you're showing your background. So actually you really do this. So, you know, before we go into this, I'd like to take a moment back in time, which will go right into the present and hopefully onward to the future. For the first time here on the Chaos Ray Show, tell the people for the first time a little bit about yourself.
My name is Andre Spence of Love Crossing Borders, Mostly Money TV, Andre Wallace TV, Travel Unravel TV. You get the point. We've been on YouTube for about a good 4 or 5 years. I was living in the States like everybody else. And living in Florida, you've got friends from around the world. And I started hanging out with a lot of Colombians because I lived in a Colombian neighborhood in Tampa, Florida. A lot of my coworkers were Colombian. I was a college recruiter, academic recruiter for 20 years. So I'm sitting in my cubicle one day. I got a passport. I'm traveling to other places. And my coworkers who were Colombian were like, "You've gone everywhere else. You need to go to our country." And they were like, okay, best country in the world, so forth and so forth. You'll go there, meet very educated women. You're going to fall in love and get married by the time you come back. And the first thing I fell in love with was Colombia itself. I fell in love with the diet. I fell in love with the water, the food, the atmosphere. And then, you know, on my other trips, I began to meet the ladies and things like that. Met my wife. We've been married. We've been together 5 years. We've been married happily 4 years. So we've been doing pretty good. Travel the world together. And from leaving the States, I was maybe making about 70, 80,000 a year. Since I left the United States, I've been making 6 figures, yet my 6 figures have the buying power, which is 4 times as much. So if you just make 100,000 in South America in US dollars, it converts in Colombian pesos or in South American pesos to 425,000 a year in buying power.
Okay. And I'm trying to pull up my unique Omaha currency converter. And I found one, my calculators, the regular calculator comes with the laptops and stuff, that they have a currency converter, which I did not know of. But I'm going to Omaha to look at how my money stretched in Colombia. Let me see, US.
Oh, yeah, it should be right now. It should be like 3.8, 3.9, 3,900, 3,800.
All right. See,
pesos.
Colombia pesos. Okay. Right, so let me share this to the people. And I like the show because, you know, it's it gives more context to show what we're talking about. A lot of people don't know the difference. All right, here we go. Now, this is the Omaha people, as y'all could tell, and make sure to see both me and him. Oh, good. That's good. All right, flipping back. As you know, $1 right now is, like you said, 3,000 something. Correct? Okay.
Yeah. So
you know what?
What we usually tell guys when they come down to visit, just multiply it by 4. It's so easy to remember. So if you got 100,000 pesos, which I have my wallet on me, if I showed you 100,000 pesos, that just means $25. You divide it by 4, and that's how you usually be able to keep up with your money. Just divide it by 4.
Okay, okay, okay. Good. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Oh, did I get my banner? Oh, I forgot something. Let me make sure. All right, there we go. Yeah, so I'm looking at, and to keep it simple, as $1 is this, and let's say if somebody makes, let's say, 40K a year. I'm just throwing this number. Let me see this. Can I say that? I'm just throwing, like, let's say an average for a black man is over 40,000. That's how much it
Yeah.
would roughly go. So your money goes a lot further if they say this is so-called medium, and it's actually went higher this year because now it's not 42, it's like 45, 46 right now. So just for disclaimers, that's what we're looking at right now. And I see some people in the chat room. See what's going on. I know I see all y'all. What's up, man? I'm in the learning mode with Theo. Okay, good. I see Queen Sunkiss. And I say hi. Edge came women.
Yeah, there's a lot of this is the irony. We're going to get to it, after a while as you're going through your chat. Shout out to everybody. Make sure you guys subscribe to this brother's channel. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure you click that like button. We like you. Make sure you like him too. And so as we go further into it, you realize that there are a lot of misconceptions about other countries that the United States has. We think that we're number one in everything. We assume that just because we're number one in the military, that we're number one in medical, we're number one in education, we're number one in foods,
which is false. Which is false.
All false information.
All false.
But when you live in the States, you don't think about it. You've just been programmed to wave your flag and think that we're number one. But as you start to travel to Europe and Southeast Asia, South America, you start to realize that there are countries that are number one in a lot of things that we are no longer number one at. And when it comes to,
I think one of the things
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Speak your mind. Go ahead, speak.
I was about to respond. So when he said educated women, there are a lot of very educated women. I'll give you a perfect example. My wife has her master's degree. Actually, she's finished off her master's degree. She'll be done next summer. She is a translator. My wife knows multiple languages. My wife owns her own business outside of what we do. My wife has always been a very independent, but a traditional woman. So no matter what she does with her clients, she comes home, she cooks a meal and things like that, takes care of her husband. Also, when it comes to Colombian women, or just my wife in general, she's a corporate tax accountant. So she helps corporations with their taxation, not just everyday family members or regular individuals, but she has a lot of franchises that throughout the city that she works with, as well as just working with individuals. So the women that I've dated since I've been here, I've dated the woman that was the head of transportation for Bogota, which is the capital of Colombia, which is 11 million people. It is the 20th largest city in the world, and she was the head of transportation. I dated another woman in another city. She was a college professor as well as an attorney, a head attorney for her law firm. I dated another young lady. She was an attorney as well in Medellin. What's my point in saying all this is to anybody that questions whether women are educated and are successful in other parts of the world, my answer to you is yes. There are women in the United States that don't have, but a lot of women in the United States that do have, and they're accomplishing things. So it is globally, women are accomplishing some amazing things. And you can be dating one if you decide to be with those type of women. But if you don't, he's absolutely correct. You will be with the miseducated women. But I decided to be with the educated women.
And you mentioned about the education part. I think America right now, we're actually close to almost last in education. I think 26, 20. I'm just guessing off the head. But can we look at all other countries, third world or even first world countries outside the United States? People got really think hard that when we talk about educate, that means not only educating, getting the basics, but also educating people in regards to so that way the government doesn't get to over control. You get me? There's certain countries that take highly of educated enough so that way if there's certain dictatorships or anything of this sort of nature, the people know what to do. Matter of fact, they'll be more attentive of who they select. You get me?
Well, the education system in the United States was established, whether it be collegiate or whether it be from all the way back down to kindergarten. It was initially established and put in order for us not to be succeeders. it was always set up for us to always be worker bees, for us to, once we graduate, to run to that elevator known as a job. That's how the American educational system is set up. It's not set up for the advancement of the country. What is set up is America as a corporation. So when it comes to America advancing and creating and inventing and things like that, yes, we are great when it comes to making more money and finding out new ways to create items that can make more money for us. But as far as like straight education and enlightenment, America has always been set up for the man on top to make more money and for the 99% of us to be nothing but worker bees. It's the educational system. You can do the history. For those that don't believe me, just do the history of American education, and it was literally set up for us to be worker bees, no matter how much education we got. And just think about it. Even the highest level of education you get, you're going to spend most of your life paying back the debt, even before you get married, even before you buy your first house, even before you buy your first major car. You will walk out of that college, even before you get your first major job, you'll walk out of that college with a major debt. And we have individuals, I just read an article a couple of days ago of a woman 90 years old, and she's still paying back $20,000 in debt of a college loan that she took out in 1981.
And there's some, but you know, and I'm not sure if you remember my channel, Love Crossing Borders. I cover about the education piece and college as entirely, as I look at it as now a scam. Now there was documentaries that was put on YouTube back in 2010, I believe 2011. It came out 2010. I cannot find a documentary. I forgot the name of it. I wouldn't be surprised it's still up on YouTube, because it revealed a lot of jewels about where educated was up until the end of the 60s, going 70s. That's when it started to shift. And people are saying, what was the great shift? Well, you look at America has reached the plateau of industrialization. So now, like you said, it's now for the capitalists that already made and facilitate their corporations. They now said, now it's time that we're going to keep and hoard as much money as possible, while everybody else that's already working had to educate just to get to the position. We're going to make them scrap. I mean, you're going to be going through their system, their school system. If you decide to go so, you're going to put yourself in debt if you decide to go to the college route, because let's be honest, most Americans, let's be honest, unless you got a free ride to college, you're going to be put on some debt. Unless you go to any other third party, like a military, that might pay for some or all, depending on where you go in that. But overall, if you look at where you stand, it's structured and designed to keep you dependent to a point that you will drain yourself till the day you die. That's what it's designed for. Now, and it's been this way for, I would say, roughly, to be honest, either 48 to roughly 50 years since the early to mid 70s.
In college,
go ahead.
I was about to say, college debt is one of the loans that you can't file bankruptcy on. Child support.
Yeah, you can't do it now. For the last 14, 13 years, you cannot file bankruptcy. And they did that intentionally. And people didn't really catch that these same people in branch of government signed up that knew that you were going to keep accumulating debt, and you're either paying or you cannot pay, which you can't pay once you get a 4-year degree, depending on what degree you get. Because your job is not going to make you a way where you're going to be able to pay off the debt within a period under 10 years. Usually, I would say the best
part again.
The amount of money you make from a job is not going to make you pay that debt off properly. Because remember, if you go to school at 18, college, you decide to go to college 18 or 17, right? You get out at 20, right? And depending if you want to continue education, now you might want to get a master's, or you just say you get a bachelor's. Right there, that's maybe 30 or 50 in debt rate. Possibly, I'm just guessing. Don't quote me, guys. I'm just guessing. Now, your job work, you're starting. You're going to start low. Eventually, you might make more as time progresses. But here's this. You got to start paying that debt. And most Americans, last time I checked, Go ahead.
6 months after you graduate, and
after that, school, you have mind you got to start paying debt. You got to start paying debt. Not only work, but also to feed yourself. So that's more burden, especially if you don't know how to budget or how you're going to go about paying the debt, which a lot of people don't really educate themselves on. I heard some people, some universities, some other entities give ways where you could slowly go about once to pay off debt, but really you're not really going to be paying off debt, because you look at how you have to get by. It's impossible. You get me? Because you have to make a certain amount to save and put down towards the debt. And if you miss that, what comes? interest.
Yep.
So now you got paid with also interest. So they knew this since the 70s, and after back in 2010, it was signed off in 2009, going on 2010. We're looking at almost roughly 30 some years later, close 40 years later. They said now, because we already know people are full debt, they're not paying off, we're just gonna make this a way where they can't default now. So now I'm gonna make you pay, and you can't come out of this. You're not getting out of this. Look at Biden. Then he said that. You go ahead.
And the crazy part is when it comes to the college debt, as you were saying, that interest rates continues to build. For example, since the pandemic, and they put the put college loan payments on hold for the last 3 years. All that interest continued to build. Now, starting October 1st,
and nobody knew that
owns college debt will have to start paying back not only what you were paying before, but you got to pay back that 3 years interest. Once again, talking about seniors, there are over 600,000 people over the age of 62 years old in the United States that are getting their checks, their Social Security checks, garnished for college loan debts.
Wow, that's crazy. Oh, and I see Lena, and I saw a comment, guys. Lena wrote, I'm moving to Canada, Cali, if Trump wins. Well, I can't go into what's going to happen to Trump. And as y'all know, regardless of what's being played right now, and I'm not big and fond of who's going to fix
that's another mistake that Americans make. We believe that presidents make policies. It's Congress, our congressmen, our senators. These are the people that make the policies. Presidents only have the ability to make a wish list. They can say, I wish that you guys would do this. I negotiate for this particular wish list or desired list. But it is up to our senators, and in other words, our senators in the Senate and those individual congressmen in the House of Representatives, they're the ones that are in control. The House of Representatives are the one that control all the national purse strings. In other words, any money that's spent on the military or anything else, that's who's in charge of it. The House of Representatives, those 400 plus individuals. The Senate are the ones that sit back and they can make certain policies and rules and ask the House of Representatives, hey, do you guys agree with spending some of this money, these US dollars, on some of these policies? The House of Representatives can say no, but we'll agree on this, that, and this. And then the Congress comes together, says, okay, we agreed upon something. Then the president signs, it comes to law. And that's how we get things done in the United States. But it wouldn't matter if President Biden was in office, President Trump, or Obama came back and ran, if he was able to run for office. Presidents have very little to no power in the United States because the way we have our judicial system set up is the judicial system, which is the judges, our government system, judicial system, the legislative system, which is the House of Representatives and Senate, and the executive branch, which is the president and vice president and their staff. But at the end of the day, it is not the president's fault in regards to what takes place in the United States. It is the presidents are nothing but puppets of corporations. The House and Senate are nothing but puppets of the lobbyists from corporations. So at the end of the day, for us to sit back and say, if this president is runs for office, I'm out of here. You, as a passport bro, and as a person that's been living out of the United States for going on 6 years, your decision should be based off of what works best for you. That's why I made these statements. What is going to work best for you and your family in the long run? If it doesn't, then you should make the decision to find a country in which is going to benefit you. Right now, for you guys that work online, this is the perfect time for you. The world is starting to embrace online work, online job, online opportunities. So you'll be able to do that. Right now, this is a time period, as you can tell, Chaos, that a person doesn't even need to have a degree. If you could just get a certification in some form of IT or cybersecurity or whatever it may be, you can get a 6-figure to high 5-figure job just off a certification. That's how the world is wired right now. So if you take advantage of this, you can do like myself and a lot of other men that and ladies that are doing right now, taking advantage of the world on a global basis, instead of feeling like you're kind of stuck under the umbrella of the governmental regulations that are left in the United States.
Yeah. And like always, as you guys come in, I'm not going to look periodic in the chat room how many likes. So as you're watching from the clouds or whatever, please hit the like button. Likes are free. Don't be stingy. Y'all come watch and hit the like button. Let it go through the algorithm. Let people know I'm alive and all that. And please subscribe to the channel. Subscribing is free. I prefer y'all subscribe to the highest level, top bell. And if you feel the channel's nice, join the membership as well. I got a few videos, not many, but like I said, many things to offer. Yeah, and I see some people wrote some comments. Let me go through comments before I write my next question. Femi writes, wait, hold on. Let me go back upward. Let me see what Femi writes. Oh, I was just saying, because a lot of men in America say they don't care about women education. They don't really care for independent women. My brother just said he likes educated women, so that depends on the brother. I think with the education system and how people take it, there is a sense of entitlement. But me as a man, I think logic. I deal with the common sense things. That if the education system was so beneficial, it should empower me enough that I'm able to maneuver not only in this environment but many other environments without ease. And as we know, because a lot of people they said they're up to level, they're not. Hell, your celebrities, your female celebrity artists are having a hard time reading a teleprompt, which I did not know. The Sexy Reds, the Sukian, they could barely read the teleprompt. So if these women are having a hard time comprehending reading, it's worse on black men.
True.
And usually, and mind you, one of them, Sweet Tea, from what I'm here, she couldn't understand what was on a teleprompt. And it was not like complex words, like simple words to read, because they don't really make it big, they make it simple for you. She went through college. I tell you many times, the college education is just a show. Depending on what education you get. It's not something that shows that you could hang around that you're actually educated. You are trained. All education systems for the past couple of decades is a training ground to see where you are in your programming. It does not really. Go ahead. Yeah. So that's what it's designed to do. It's not here to design make you think critically or any of all the above. One reason why that is because if you're a thinking person, now you question things. And you question things, now you cannot be scammed. You cannot be taking advantage of what the things they're doing behind closed doors, like they're doing now. Policies, things they put in front of you, newspaper articles, digital form, all that stuff. These are things they're doing, and people are not attentive because one, it's boring. Two, most people can't understand because most of reading overall is written through a 6 to possibly 8 grade reading level. So obviously they write something like that. And a lot of people, let's be honest, that are at level, and I think most Americans, they're pushing somewhere in the middle and probably less now because of technology. I doubt a lot of people are at level a lot of things. Because what technology does now, love cross borders, it makes us dependent and actually more lazier. The floor is yours.
And that's one of the reasons why I give you a perfect example going back to what you were saying when it comes to education. Once again, as being a 20-year academic college recruiter, I can tell you 85% of all college degrees, most people don't even go into their field. I'll say that again, 85% of all American college degrees, most people do not even go into that field. So all you archaeologists, you haven't discovered anything lately. Most of you guys aren't using that degree. You're using it for somebody else. Some of you guys that went into computer science and whatever it may be, or went off into communication skills, a degree, you're not using that degree. You're 9 times out of 10, you're probably working in some other field. That's not bad, but it just goes to show you how they put you in these debts. They put you to whereas in other countries, this is the amazing part. I was just watching a headline in regards to this, that they were saying that Europeans live a better life and a longer life than most Americans. Now we feel like we're number one in everything. And one of the things that they said about Europeans, many European, especially Scandinavian countries, they were saying that while the United States spends 1/5 of all of our dollars on military, many of these countries have a smaller military, but they focus more on the development of the people, as far as making sure the poor no longer stay poor if they don't want to. You should see the projects in some of these countries, man, like in Austria. Brother, you're thinking that you are in a 5-star a 5-star community one of the top communities in the States. And these are just the projects. We talk about our projects in South Side Chicago and parts of New York and Watts and Detroit. That's the type of projects I'm talking about. When you look at the projects in Europe, they actually have architectural competitions. What's my point? My point is, when you have a passport, it allows you to actually go out and see what's out there for yourself and not just assume that back home is the only thing. I'm not taking anything away from our own country. What I'm saying is, once again, our country is only one of 196 countries. I'll say that again, 196 developed countries. Yeah. Why is it that we're the only developed country in the top 10 in the world that has no health care as far as a person having paid days, paid family medical leaves without having to take off, without having to take off work but not get paid for it? We're the only country. Every country in the world, Colombia, every country, if you get sick, you get paid. If you have a baby that's months off, you get paid. The United States is the only, outside of the island of New Guinea, we don't consider that a major country. Outside of the island of New Guinea, United States is the only country that has no paid family medical leave and no medical leave payment if anything happens to you on that job. And yet, we spend a lot of our money on making sure we got the best military, which is great. Yeah. We are the number one consumers in the world. United States spends we use over 40% of world natural resources. One country. We're only 4% of the planet's population. Our little 400 million is nothing compared to the 8 going on 9 billion people. And yet we use over 40% of all natural resources in the world: oil, coal, cloth, food, trees, you name it, we use 40% of it. And yet at the same time, we never take the time out to find out what's going on around the rest of the globe because we've been locked in this bubble. So as long as we run on this treadmill in the United States as workers, and they give us a raise every 3 years, because this is the funny part about being back home in the United States, the rate of inflation last year was 9%. And yet your raise was not 9% last year, was it? No.
Nope.
What about
because they sucked more money out of you. That's
right.
The purpose.
If you got a raise for 9% this year, you're still paying back all those college loans. All those college loans from last year. You got cities right now in the United States that the gas price, I just did a headline on that yesterday. The gas price is $8. In some cities is already up to $9 per gallon of gas.
Jesus Christ.
In the United States right now.
That means the full your tank, you need to spend almost $170, depending on the type of brand of vehicle, right? It's a V6. If it's not a a 4-cylinder, anything higher, you look at almost close to $200 for a full tank for certain vehicles. It was $8, if my math is right. Yeah, absolutely. And then that only will go by maybe a week if depend what state you live in. Remember, love cross borders. If we live in places that are rural, we have to drive to commute or drive to go to one place to the other.
I'm glad that you said that, because the United States is one of the few countries in the world that is purposely set up to where you would have to buy a car. They actually set this up on purpose. They purposely built the freeways and the roads in locations to where, and they purposely separate the grocery stores from that you can't walk to your local Walmart. Very few of us can walk to a local Walmart in our city. Very few of us. So they purposely do this, and they set this up to where we have to buy cars. You buy the car, you have to buy the oil, you have to buy tires, you have to buy gasoline, all the other things that come along with the car. Like they often say, you have a price, but then you have a cost that you're going to have to pay, meaning all the other things. To where as many countries are set up to where you can ride a bicycle, you can ride a scooter, you can actually walk. Like here in Colombia, just about even major cities, everything is in walking distance. Everything. That's why they wonder why Colombian women look the way that they do, or why their thighs or the calves, or women in Brazil look the way that they do, or Argentina. Because here in South America, everything is in walking distance. If you want a car, yes, including car insurance. If you want a car, you can get that. We have an SUV. We've got an Equinox 2020. We bought it during the pandemic because wasn't nobody buying cars. So we got a great deal. We saved $15,000 on our vehicle. My point in saying that is because we wanted that vehicle. But if I didn't have one, remember, I had already been here for 3 years without having a car, using Ubers and taxis, yes, when needed, but everything is in walking distance. America is purposely set up to where you have to have a vehicle. They purposely spread everything out. Once again, we're not putting America down. I love America. I'm just sharing with you the differences. You know, for some of you guys that don't know the difference between the United States and other countries, that's some of the things that I'm just sharing tonight.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, man. We dropping some. Well, it's not really new information, but it's just information that if y'all not aware, it's something to really think about critically. Because personally, when we talk about the traveling, and we're gonna get to the subject of modern women. Oh, I forgot. The subject for today's stream, I apologize, people, is modern women. Is modern woman is terrible? Is flying out the solution? That's the subject for tonight's show. But before going there, I'm going to acknowledge the chat. I know we have a super chat by Black Nation, $2. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Shout out to Black Nubia in the building, Canadian boys.
Yes. Yep. Let me see. Because you see doing her life. I mean, look. I'm gonna start from the upward and down. By Joe Swan, an educated woman and woman independent in America still equals independent woman based on her actions. An educated woman overseas still comes home and fulfills her roles as wife. And if you notice, a lot of women that have a Caribbean background, because like I said, Colombia is Caribbean, like most South American countries. Well, it's actually a country actually. That there's some roles women are going to still do because obviously they gotta not only deal with children if they have children, but also feed themselves and work. One question I'm gonna ask you, Love Crossing Borders, in regards to this thing about working, what's this notion where I hear a lot of Black women say they don't want to work and they should have like the so-called soft girl era or soft girl life? In regards, other race women don't work if they do or don't have to. I don't really recall every other woman, especially in America, that just sits on their butt and don't work. That's some new information.
I can't think of the era where Black women didn't work. The Black women have always supported the community, the development of the community from the time period of, when we first landed here, that we worked next to each other. The time period of Reformation after, slavery ended, we worked together. When we were in the deep South, when we were sharecroppers, we worked together. When we moved to the North and we worked at factories and plants, and mom stayed home and make sure this was taken care of and that was taken care of, and she was making sure she had a part-time job. That's why you had so many Black maids and servants up north at the same time while the husband working in the factories and the foundries. Mom worked back then. So I'm trying to think of the era in which Black women are trying to say that they were staying at home and they didn't have to work. It has always been that. It has always been in the Black community, Black women and Black men have always worked together as a unit. It's this new wave of mindset of individuals that don't read something called a book, that as long as you can get people not to read history, read facts, read stats, you can tell them anything. I could sit here and all the things that I told you technically can be researched. So all you guys that want to replay this video, anything that I said, I promise you can just Google it real quick. But let's say I was lying. Let's say I said 89% of all Black men only date white women. For those that don't read and understand, there are going to be a couple people out there in the world that actually believe that what I just said was true, which we all know is not true, because 87% of all men actually still, no matter what economic scale, still are interested in marrying and dating Black women. But if you let people always say, oh, they leaving us for all the white women, Black men only date. Here we go, ladies. Y'all ready? 9% of all Black men date and or marry a white woman. I have only 3%. Of Asian, 1%. That's it. Asians and others. That's it. 13%. That's it. The other 87% of brothers, they're trying to get with you, no matter what economic scale. So when women sit back and say they leaving us for the white one, what, the 9%? Or they leave you for Maria, the Latin women? 3%? There's only 3% of us brothers that are dating Latin women. That's it. It is not as big as people try to make it seem. But if I say it enough times, you see where I'm going with that, Chaos? If I say something that's false enough times, people will believe that falsehood of black men are leaving black women for white women. That statistically is not true. Is not true. You might see a lot more interracial relationships out there, yes, but it's not as many as you think it is.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, my thing is this: black men that's been groomed and raised by one parent, it takes a lot for him to really, date out. Personally, not saying it don't exist, but let's say it is as high. We always gotta ask, why is it that it's so easy for a man to go and date outside his community than, let's say, the woman, regardless if she says she chooses options? Because men at the end of the day, they deal with and hold the power of the relationship and possible marriage. So women overall, if they're healthy minded, do want and seek relationships. So we had to ask, does the black woman consider or want healthy, or just want a relationship, or it is want a transaction? Which is another thing that I've been noticing that's been floating around, that we live in a transactional era. Last time I checked, you don't really build or deal with anything, or there's no outcome of transactionals. You pay, you go, that's it. And now you do it. You not only do this one time, you do it 10, 13, 15, and number goes on many times. Where you find a relationship with a transaction? I'm waiting. The logic don't make sense. But we do live in a transactional stage now. So, but let me acknowledge more of the chat. And I see Sheed. I see you, Sheed. What's good? And it's on the brother if they want HK. All right. Let me wait on before I go. I know Koja Malenko says something. I'm gonna follow your comments in section. Koja, sorry. Yeah, we know they get to take longer work breaks. They are out loud to spend a lot of time with their families. Their women don't have to go right back to work after childbirth. Okay. And here, let me make sure, because I miss always the one that's about family, just because you see what it does. All right. Now let me go to Koja's comments, because she wrote some interesting comments. Many pay for the college experience, wants the quick, easier route. Monies, misuse student loans, commuted. I think that's her solution. Leaving the south side of Chicago out of this. Go mess around West Chicago, south side. I know what she's writing about that. I never saw that we were talking about the difference between educated women overseas and independent educated women in the States. Still have an independent mindset. Okay.
That's true. Let's not let that roll past for a second, because I want to respond to the independent woman when they said, well, you guys say that you're not interested in woman independence or a woman's education. As far as for example, my wife's or other educated women around the world, economics, we don't care. We're not sitting back saying you got to bring this to the table as far as economics. Most men who are successful don't talk like that. I agree with you. What we don't want from women is the braggadocious behavior because you're educated. That's what makes it problematic for men. It's not the fact that you ladies are educated, it's how your behavior changes when you become educated. For many, not all, but for many, that makes the good women look bad, because there are a lot of women that get education and still the sweetest thing on 2 feet. But there has been an influx of women, the modern women, in the United States, no matter what race, color, or creed. You get an education, or you get you a nice job, or you make a few extra dollars, and you're sitting back like, I'm the woman. And we're happy for you for your accomplishments, but that braggadocious, or if you get into a discrepancy with your man, you talking down to him because, now I've never experienced that, but you're talking down to him because of you feel like your ego has been inflated. It's almost like chaos. It's almost like the few incidences that I've come across where it was a woman that was a little bit heavier, but her man loved her anyway. and he loved her
Yeah.
for years. I got a few female friends like that. Loved them for years. I have yet to have a female friend that once she lost weight, she didn't either leave her husband or she cheated. When she was a full figure woman, she loved him, the family unit, everything. When she finally decided to focus on getting her body fit and all the compliments and the attention that she got after that, many of them, it went to their head. And I've yet to see very few of them that did not cheat and did not lose weight. I mean, did not lose weight, but did not leave their husbands, i.e., my man, Remy Ma. When Remy Ma when he met her, she was not she didn't look like she looks now. She was a little thicker. She was a thicker Remy Ma. Remember that? Everybody want to forget about that.
Yeah, I think I had to look at the old pictures. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
When she was a big girl, she wasn't big, but she was big enough. He loved her no matter what. He wanted a family with her no matter what she was going through. Rode with her for 6 years. She got out. She started making more money than she had prior with Fat Joe prior to going incarcerated. She blew up. She's doing her thing. She's getting her body right. She's 45. She needs that attention because women are, no matter, even my wife, no matter what woman, they like attention. And so she's getting that attention that she didn't get before when she wasn't fit like the way that she is. And she's getting 35-year-old, 30-year-old girl attention at 45 years old. And next thing
she's 43. 43. She was born in 1980.
Okay, a woman over 40. And so now these type of accusations come out, whether they're true or false. It's the fact that accusations can come out about a man's wife. That should never take place with any woman. It should be so far-fetched if a person was to say that, if the type of the quality of woman that you have, man, you crazy, man. Remy ain't doing nothing like that. I know what type of woman she is. That should be able to be said. But the way Remy Ma has carried herself since she's been out, nothing against her, no attack, no shade. Mm-hmm. It gives credence to even if false accusations like this could take place. Because women that lose weight have a tendency of carrying themselves, that's what my point is, in a certain way that was not parallel to how she carried herself prior to. Do men do that? Yes, they do as well. But women are very known for when they lose weight, everybody got to see the breast pushed up in the waistline and the booties and all of a sudden you're on Instagram every other day, and now you got the Mary J. Blige boots all the way up to the middle of your thigh and all that. But when you was a big girl, you wasn't wearing the Mary J. Blige boots like that.
It wouldn't look right.
Right. And so that's what I mean in regards to going back full circle to the modern woman. When I sit back and I say that when it comes to a woman being educated, men have no problem with you being educated. But once you become educated or you become to an area of getting a position, many women have a tendency of letting that go to their head, and now they change. That's what men don't want, that change in mental behavior in which a lot of women display, not the fact that you got the education or you got the promotion. We're happy for our boo. And a lot of women don't realize that once they get control of the fact that, okay, I got a promotion, I want my man to be happy for me, but I'm not going to let it go to my head like women in other countries don't do. You'll see a lot more guys being supportive of their women instead of just sitting back saying, man, I know she about to act a fool because she got that new promotion, and I can see how she acted right now.
Yeah, I think it's generally I don't know if I want to say it's a Negro thing. We want to act more boosty than we are, at times, and we like to compete with each other. Some men, we don't like to say we like competing with each other. We do sometimes, depending on the situation. Women, obviously, they'll compete with certain women and men if not careful. You get me? Which you find a lot of black men will compete with men too. So we have that certain fire spirit with us. We like to compete with each other instead of outside the group. Unfortunately. Let me write. I think what's the name? Femi wrote a good question. What is your experience with racism dealing with other cultures?
For the most part, racism is not like racism in the United States. It's more in most countries that I found is classism. If you carry yourself in a particular way, ain't nobody tripping on your race as much as they tripping on the brother, the same brother that's living in a broke, poor barrio. It could be the one thing I noticed, if you are, or here in South America, no matter what race you are, if you broke, and they gonna treat you like you broke. If you got money, you can go to I go to all the golf courses, I go to all the tennis courses, all the upper echelon locations. I have no problem with that. Actually, I'm treated more American as I am as black. It's kind of crazy. You would think that people would sit back like in the States, talk about black this, black that, black this. That's like it is. That's how it is in the States. But here, oh, he's an American. Oh, the Americans over there. Oh, that's American. Oh, tell me about America. That's how they treat you in most countries. They treat you as the American woman or the American guy or the American child, not necessarily by your color. Is racism around in other countries? Yes, without a doubt. But how they look at it, it's more classism compared to, well, that police. Let's put it like this. As you guys know, I drive everywhere. I've had the police sirens behind me many a day. Now, one time have I had to look over my shoulder and worry where they're stopping me. In the United States, no matter what class of brother you are, you could be Chris Rock, you could be Danny Glover, you could be a brother that's a political scientist, you could be a college professor. You looking over your shoulder every once in a while, is that police officer pulling me over? That's what I mean about the difference between classism, racism, compared to just racism, that United States standard of racism.
Yeah, man. There's a sense of fear, even being a black person, but especially black man in this country. A lot of things. It's one of the few things. It's always the threat of law enforcement that's always either tailing or keeping an eye on you, whether you're in packs or just by individual. And normally they really catch you is usually when you're behind the wheel, mostly. You get me? Not like they're gonna stop you if you're walking on, depending on what city you are. But mostly if you're driving, obviously it's more easy for them to like get you. So
like here in South America, if I buy a house in the United States, they're gonna try to get me because I'm a brother trying to move into a certain neighborhood. Here in South America, they're gonna try to get me with a higher price because I'm an American and I should have American dollars. You see where I'm going with that? That has nothing to do with a black man. That has to do with a white man. It could be an Irish man. Because I'm a person from America, that house that was $100,000, it might be $107,000 because I walked in the room. Compared to in the United States, they're going to make that house $110,000, try to outbid me because they may not want a person of my complexion in their neighborhood, assuming that the rate of or the value of the community will go down. I'm actually reading a book right now called The Sum of Us. And this book is actually centered around the
who wrote that
economic expense that it costs to be racist in the United. It's expensive as heck to be racist in the United States. It is not free. It costs the United States billions of dollars every year just to hold certain cultures back and advance certain cultures, because in the United States, black people racism and white people racism is completely different. They raise black people to believe if you make the playing field even, it'll help the country. White people were raised on what was called, let me get it correct. They were raised on what was called the zero sum game. The zero sum game. And what that is, white people were raised that if you give something to black people, you have to take something from white people. That's it's
nonsense. It's backwards.
Right. Black people believe that if you make the playing field even, it'll make a greater America. White people believe that if you keep it white, it's a greater America, and keep it more white, it's a greater America, and keep it more white, it's a greater America. That's how white people were. Now, they didn't ask to be programmed like that, but the plutocrats and the government officials and corporations have programmed white people over hundreds of years, just like they programmed us over hundreds of years. And so white people actually believe that if we move into a neighborhood, it'll go down. And the only people that make the neighborhood value go down are the other white people that believe that the value of a house will go down if a black person is in it. That's why my point was with the racism in the United States is that zero-sum game. White people actually believe that when it comes to jobs, when it comes to the communities, when it comes to opportunities, when it comes to marriages, if a white man marries a black woman, something goes down. To whereas if a white dude married a black woman in our community, we don't care as long as they economically does something to raise the communities across the country. That's how we were raised. Equal means that everybody get a chance to win. Whites believe that, and they were raised to believe that if they lose, or if blacks or anybody else gains, then whites lose, which is not true, which is actually scientifically not true. So this book is centers around an excellent book, and it centers around how expensive it is for America to hold on to racism, how much money we lose out on every year just by being racist. To whereas, like I said, in another country, I go there, all they care about is, you an American? I'm trying not to get gringo price. I have never one time in South America, all the countries I've been to, I have not one time worried about if a person's about to judge me because I'm black. I spend more time looking at them like they about to raise the prices because I'm an American.
Sorry about that. I just had a
no
call.
problem.
Yeah. Yeah, man. How white people operate in this country, because if we look at the history of the inception of America, we have criminals that helped build and did their thing to build America. Unfortunately, besides the assistance of black folks to really build the country, but really this country was founded by criminals. You get me? They were like the criminal class of their homeland. They had to to fight to do what's necessary to get their freedom. That's why they operate and think the way they do about not having a even playing field, because you're dealing with a criminal.
And look who they're letting over the borders right now. Are they letting doctors and professors coming through Mexico? Are there any engineers coming through Mexico? Come on, let's be real with it. Are there any individuals that are Fortune 500 entrepreneurs in their home country coming through Mexico? No. They've got the individuals that are impoverished, those individuals that are part of criminal activities, individuals that were running from warrants, individuals that were running from cartels in their home country, and they ran into the United States, and President Biden just Kamala opened it up with open arms to let all those criminal elements. And now you're hearing that people in the United States, a Venezuelan pickpocketed an American in New York. A Colombian stole the bike of, they took all the criminal elements, not all, but many of the criminal elements from these foreign countries in Africa and South and Central America, and open up the gates of the United States. And nobody that's coming through there is a college professor coming through there. No. America is not receiving the best of the best. My point is, America started by crime and criminals. I don't care. That's why it was so easy for those Christian pilgrims to do what they did, because they already had a criminal mindset. And America is still opening up its gates to let in the criminal elements. More criminals.
There you go.
So I don't see why we actually all surprised about America started with criminals. America still got criminals coming through the borders.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. How you start is how you will actually eventually finish, or in the beginning, that will be the end.
As the Roman Empire and the Roman Republic, that one.
Yeah. All right. So let me get to the. Oh, and guys, as you come in, please like the stream. I would appreciate, share. And if you want, please support the channel. Super chat is active. The Cash App is active. I'll put a post in a second, but let me go to the next comment. By Koja Malinka. Many people. I think I read it. Let me go down. Try to find next. Okay, here's this one. Community college can be paid out of pocket, and many bachelor's degrees classes at state college, private colleges are another story. Yeah, you can go that route, but eventually, like I said, if you're not getting a free ride to college, you're paying. Joe, you would be different, just like them men in other countries are different than American men. They don't do the things y'all do. They are more lovely and respectful. I think she was talking about some guy by Joe, and Joe writes, most American women want equal within the house. Most women overseas don't think that way. and preferred those roles. A man as the head, not the head. Yeah, they have no problem of a man leading.
Let's stop right there for a second. And I remember
Right,
what she said about the car insurance. He's absolutely correct. One of the things that women in South, especially in South America and the Caribbean, you are expected. I'll say this again with emphasis. You are expected to walk in full masculinity. I'm not to talk about I'm a man, beat my chest masculinity. I'm talking about the three elements of masculinity that we're judged by: our provision abilities, our problem solving skills, and our ability to take care, help with the family unit. We are expected to be able to be there for our families. We're expected to be there to provide. We're expected to be there to protect. And we're expected as men to be problem solvers. You are expected of that. That's the definition of a traditional man. We've done that throughout time. We've all been problem solvers, protectors, and providers, always. Why is that? Why is that so important? Because my wife and other women have told me in South America, they feel comfortable walking in their femininity because you are walking in your masculinity. They don't want to be like women in the States. Even the feminists here in the United States, even the feminist women here are not combative to the men that they're going to be with, because they have so many women. They know this. For me to combat as a feminine in South America, that means I got to combat not only against the men. That's easy to do in the United States. But now I got to combat against my grandma, my aunties, my cousin, all those women that enjoy being feminist. Being feminine. So feminist definition in the States is completely different from how women walk in as a feminist here, because most women want to be feminine, even if some of them are feminists. I hope you understand where I'm coming from with that.
Yeah.
Women they love being girly. Even when they're mad, even when my wife disagrees with me, it comes from a feminine energy, not like certain women in the States where they be like, "Oh man, doggone with that dog. You can't be talking to me. You know who you're talking." You like, am I talking to another man? That's commonplace in the United States. Not all women, not many women, but enough women that we can look and see women being problematic in regards to showing masculine traits. That's what makes it so hard for a lot of women in the United States to actually walk out of masculinity and walk into that feminine. So when I hear this soft girl summer, we're going to be nice. How can you be something that you never was or have never practiced before? You can't be if you haven't practiced that before. I can't go out there and tell an NBA basketball player, okay, my first summer out here, I'm gonna be focused now. Dre, you're 55 years old. Your days of trying to be an NBA player is over. So it is with a lot of women that call themselves trying to be soft girl for the summer. You've been programmed to behave in such a masculine behavior for so long that men are getting their passports and are letting you be who you actually are. If you want to be masculine, so be it. And the last thing I'm going to say is, when it comes to this statement, he says women in other countries, he's absolutely correct. Women in other countries realize a part of my femininity is me managing the family unit. To whereas women in the United States, like, I done just got off a 12-hour shift. I ain't about to cook and make him a plate too while he just sitting there. I ain't about to do all that. I ain't about to take care of the kids too. Cool. Because the United States is one of the few countries in the world that's fussing about it. Yeah. You think you're the only women in the world that's working 12-hour shifts? You're the only woman in the world that's having kids and babies. You're the only woman in the world that got a husband or a boyfriend. These women on the other side of the world, like, listen, if I'm making 4 plates for the kids and me, I ain't gonna break my wrist to make another plate for this grown man that's going out there like I am, making money, bringing it to the family. What is it gonna break your wrist? But it hurts the heart of women in the United States to actually, if they're making 4 plates for them and the kids, for her and her kids, to make one more plate seems like that plate is made of titanium and it's so heavy to make a plate for a man and actually take it to the table. To whereas in other countries, it's part of the cultural makeup. And if you don't, one thing I can tell you about Colombia before I shut up, let my wife not make me a plate. I ain't got to say nothing. Because her mama, grandmama, aunties, all her female cousins, they gonna be on her. Like, what are you doing? If you don't take care of your man, don't worry about it. There's gonna be another woman making a play for your man. That's how they look at it in South America.
I wish I had some sound effects, but that is so damn true. Much I can't be opposition to that because they know saying if you cannot cater or take care or just that small point, then obviously you give that role to somebody else. And let's be honest, women will compete. I hear this a lot of times. I've been hearing a lot of black people say that they want to compete, and they say, why should they? It's a lazy mentality. It's lazy mentality. Because if you want something, or let's say you want something bad, or you just want something, you tell me you're not going to do what's necessary. You just go sit back and let God just bring forth men from the sky. Or the one in your image, that graven image. It doesn't work like that. That's that aforementioned crap. That don't work. But let me acknowledge one super chat. Because somebody wrote the game. Let me say from L Grims, $5. What's up, though, Dre? Been busy, but was able to catch the one.
Good. What's up, man? Glad to see you here, L Grim.
So let me go down more because there was some interesting comments. Let me see. I lost the real question. Okay, what's the last comment? No woman staying home. Let me look. Okay. All right. Oh yeah, Positive I did wrote one question. Maybe I'm lost. What are the daily duties of a husband? I think you might answer already.
Yeah, the daily duties. I'm glad that you said that. I actually answered that. The historical daily duties of a man, if he's a good man and a man in your relationship, is first of all provision. Not just only economic provision, but provision in regards to insight, knowledge, being a good example of the family in public, as well as private. A lot of times a man is supposed to have the ability to provide. The reason why I'm always such a reader is because I can provide my wife with insights. She reads certain books. She can give me insight. I can give her insight. So provision is not just only the economics, but can that man provide for the family? If anything happens to the wife, if anything happens to one of the children, can he give comfort? Can he give peace? Can you provide peace and comfort and joy in a home? That's the first step, provision. Second thing that a man has to have the ability to do is to protect. Now, protection is not just fisticuff or he can fire off a couple rounds. Protection is also having the ability to tell a woman like, babe, let's go to the right because I see some mess coming to the left. It's also having the ability to tell your girlfriend or your wife, why are you gossiping about what your girlfriend is doing? I don't like a gossipy wife. Let's not do that. Let's not talk about your girlfriend's boyfriend. That's none of our business. Let's not gossip. That's protecting your wife from a situation that if her friend finds out that she's gossiping about her, now we got a whole big mess. Also, protection also protects a person in regards to nourishment. I give a perfect example. My wife makes sure, and I make sure that we eat healthy in our home. So we protect ourselves from certain diseases or certain things that could impact our bodies. That's another form of protection, making sure that you have the right foods and diets in your home. Third area that every man historically has had to do if he's a real man, problem solve. You have the ability, a perfect example. I was watching a headline with Steve Harvey the other day. Steve Harvey said that for about good 8 or 9 years, he thought that his tax accountant was paying. He said, I gave him the checks every year to pay off my taxes. He said, when my accountant died, they were going through his forms and found the receipts to my checks. This dude was keeping the money for 10 years. Steve Harvey owed back taxes like crazy.
He owed, I think, roughly, almost 20 million. I think it was over like millions. It was millions back in
it was up there. Marjorie said this. Marjorie didn't say, Steve, what are we going to do? He says, Marjorie cried for 2 days straight. She said, after my wife cried, he said, after my wife cried for 2 days, my wife looked at me and said, well, Steve, what are you going to do? Men, real men are supposed to have innate problem-solving skills. Whether the problem gets solved in a year or 2 years. Steve Harvey said, I had to pay $600,000 a month for 4 years.
Yep.
Just imagine paying $600,000 every month in back taxes that you thought that you had paid off. He said, I did every comedy show. I went on tour. He said, he said, man, I was announcing on my radio show. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be there. Why is that? Because a real man is supposed to have problem solving skills. You let the family members panic. You let everybody else cry. But it is your job to have problem solving skills. In other words, step up to the bat, step up to the plate, to go to bat, to fight the challenge. It's our job to slay the dragons of life in our families. So once again, the 3 daily things that a real man's supposed to be doing, or have the ability to do at least every day, or in practice for himself. So when he gets a mate, he's already been practicing these behavior patterns. So it's nothing new to him. Problem solving, protecting, provision. Mm-hmm. If you haven't been practicing that in your life as a man, you cannot ask for a traditional woman, because you have not been a traditional man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. And when we talk about the lack of abilities for these young males that will become men, this is just me. If you're a parent and you're raising your children, especially the boys, by yourself, by choice or whatever, right? You have to make your young son be in position to start thinking, so he has the ability to start problem solving. And one of the few things that is a good practice, and I might have to invest in one. I remember playing this back in the mid or late 90s, was what we call chess, which was designed by us. Is a thinking sport. And not only thinks, but it makes you have to plan your steps and potentially problem solve if you're put in a situation, because now you're playing ahead. Is giving you the avenue to start using that cognitive ability to start thinking, how I'm gonna get out of this? What are the steps? What things I look ahead of time? I think enough Black boys that become men are not put in positions to use their brain enough, so that way they have the capability to start problem solve their issues.
Yeah.
And now, because the society is making things so easy and making people more lazy or create environments for leisure, it removes that problem solving capability for a good portion of men in the society. Because if you're not problem solving, now you let somebody else do the thinking and solve them for you. And when that happens, you're in trouble. You get me? And even the women that's complaining about, why this, that, because you have to put your child in a position so they're able to potentially start figuring out rational solutions. He might gonna fail, but it's better. You get me? It's a try and error. Problem solving is not something that you just get once out the back, like a snap of the finger and then problem solve. No, you're going. Sometimes your ideas might fail on you. You get me? But the point is this: you're put in a position to start thinking what ways to alleviate the problem. If you're not in a position that tells you let somebody else do the thinking for you, and that is what we call your dumbing them down. There was one good book called Dumbing Down, and I don't got the name of it. I had to Google it. But this man wrote an X book back in the early 90s, 92, and he talks about the education system. And I don't like to go back to education system, but we're going to go there since we're talking about it. That education, and we want to really talk about its real purpose, it's supposed to help you not only think, but also not think for yourself, but also problem solve if needed. Because you have to clearly think of how you're going to solve the problem. And now, because for the last more than 30 years now, they have removed that capability. The only time you might get that is maybe in the higher academia, if you're lucky. But overall, most things now you look at, you're not able to think. So if you're a boy becoming a man in society, if your parents don't really prepare you, especially mothers or fathers or whoever, to help you start thinking how to solve little small problems and keep it simple, it will lead to bigger problems in the future. And like you said, you said that you have to be able to problem solve. And a lot of Black men that men say, unfortunately, don't have that because they didn't think it was a necessity. They think it's not a necessary skill. The only time when they have to really put in position to solve problems is they're put behind the wall. And I'm not saying that's a good ideal, but you don't want to put in a crucial position where you have to now rationally think your way out of this. Because now you're down the 8 ball. And you don't want to be in 8 ball positions. You want to be able to develop that muscle as fast, effective, and as soon as possible in certain scenarios. So that way, if you put in that situation, you are well prepared. So let's move on. Let me see what else comments I see here. And I see I'm going down.
Shout out to the chat, bringing the great questions.
Yeah, the chat's getting very active. I think one she wrote here about even prisoners I work as seeing 40 to 50% women. Majority of people I work with are women. Even the prisons I work at, some are 40%. Okay. Next one. God didn't intend any human to work like this. This is the white man's doing. Yeah. And it's our job to get it. Maybe I am lost. What are the daily duties?
Let's go back to that.
We read this already. Okay. Oh, God. Okay.
Yeah, in the United States, you don't have the days of rest that you should have. You know, here in Colombia, they have over 20 holidays a year, and their holidays are on Monday on purpose. So everybody gets a 3-day weekend. That's 20 times a year, not including their regular vacation time, not including the sick time, things like that, or for pregnancies. Yeah. So I understand exactly where she's coming from in regards to that. But God did put in a position for us to work our way out of this situation, that scenario. I'll say that again. Even though we may be working that scenario, God did give us the ingenuity that eventually we should be able to work our way out of that. Many of us have started with the problematic 2 or 3 jobs or job working. I was working 13 hours of shifts at time periods when I was making only like $10, $15 an hour. Then I said, this is not going to work. So I began to do the process of, while I'm in this situation, I'm going to work my way out. Whether some people is education, some people is a side hustle to where it becomes a full-time job. Some women, they start doing cupcakes or writing a book. Some women, they start by creating a different product, whatever it may be. But life is set up to where we all can eventually work our way out and let other people be the consumer of our products or services. But for many of us, we are programmed in the States, in many countries. I don't want to just say the States. Most of society is programmed to be a worker. Most of us are programmed to be workers. That's it. In the book Plato Republic, excellent book. I think it was Aristotle was talking, and they were just sitting around before they go to the arena to go watch the gladiator games. And they were trying to create the perfect world. They said, well, what would the perfect world be? And they said, we have the guardians, which would be the military, the police. You have the leaders, of course, political leaders, and you have everyday people. And they will live in caves in the dark. They will be born in caves in the dark. They will work in caves in the dark. They will never know what light is. And here's a part that I never forgot in the book. They said that if anybody ever escaped the darkness of the caves in which they live and work in and ran to the entrance where light was, the light of insight and knowledge would blind them so much they would go running back into the darkness. And that's what most people do. Life gives you an opportunity to walk into the light of opportunity. But because you're so used to what you're used to, you scurry back to the 9 to 5, the 9 to 9, the 15-hour job. And that's what they know that you're going to do. You'll scurry back into it. If your business doesn't take off in the first 6 months, you over 85%.
You throw a towel
give up on that channel within the first 6 months. If I'd have gave up within the first 6 months, you know how much money, how many 6 figures we wouldn't have made within a 4-year period if we would have given up. So most people who think, oh, it's rough out here and it's tight out here. It is. It's supposed to be. Life is supposed to be tough so you don't get comfortable in that 9 to 5 to where you do something to get out of that 9 to 5, like many of us are either doing or have done. But to complain about it is supposed to not be comfortable. The last thing you want is to be comfortable in your $15, $17, $21 hour job, $35. I don't care if you make $50 an hour. There's somebody out there making at least $1,000 off of you because you're making $50 an hour. Somebody runs that firm. Somebody runs that clinic that's paying you $50 an hour, and they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars while they're at the golf course.
Yeah.
And so it's not supposed to be comfortable. Your job should never be a comfortable job. Your jobs, plural, should never be comfortable. You should always feel uncomfortable to the point where you want to do something about it.
Yeah. I mean, see, uncomfortable will breed innovation. And not only innovation, but it'll breed one to either do two things. Whether you gonna accept it or do something. And I think how society is structured now and how they condition. Remember, you understand, Dre. They got control of the minds of people. I remember Courage Wooden wrote in his famous book that's now roughly actually 90 years old now. The Miseducation of the Negro. He said, if I control, now mind you, it quotes saying if you control a man's thinking, but it applies to women too. But for the sake, he wrote in his own statement, in his words, if I control a man's thinking, I don't have to worry about the actions. See, comfortability is only a result because he got you mentally, your mind already. So where the mind goes, the body has to follow. That is his conclusion. So the uncomfortability, people are uncomfortable. They don't do it because they're not thinking differently on how to get out of it. That takes thinking to say, once I think, I have to take action. But it's much, much difficult than it seems. I know most people think what they're gonna do, but unless you use your God-given feet, it ain't gonna come to reality. Once you think, you gotta move. You get me? Because wherever the mind is, the body follows. So you're gonna have to not only what you're thinking and control what your thoughts and what you really want to do, your intentions, you make up your mind, you must take the actual action. If not, it's just dead. It's just flowing in your head.
Yeah.
But you're not doing nothing with it. No, just like ideals, things that we come up when we never take action. So it just floats and dies. That's how it works. So let me go on to the next comment. She writes from Positive Vibes about Coach Malenka. They only expect to work outside the home while women are expected to work outside the home and inside the home. I'll pass. Okay. That's you. Tell the black me to stop saying it. Okay. No woman is saying that. You pastor bros are saying that, trying to convince us of this. We know this. We know white women are not dating y'all like that. Thanks for saying that. Okay. Joe, okay? Sure. That is waiting. Let's go back. Oh, you want to go back to what, this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Black men historically have never said, that's why y'all with them white girls, y'all only leave us for them white. Black men don't say that. Oh, so you with the white girl now? Black men don't say that. Black men don't even celebrate with black men that they were white girls. You never see black men like, dude, you sit in a comedy skit because that's a skit. None of us regular brothers in a barbershop never went across another brother with a white girl and was like, man, you with a white girl? Oh, dog, you came up. We don't talk like that.
Yeah, we don't.
The only people that actually care, even, let's put it like this even further. Black men don't really care about y'all being with white dudes. Y'all come on social media and brag about y'all with the white dudes. Passport bros brag about getting out of the system of the United States. I'm gonna say this again, ladies, while you ladies are here. I don't know why it started right around last year, where men and women started attacking each other that were travelers. Black women traveled, black men traveled. We both were finding good love and bad love. Both of us were finding great relationships. Some of us were finding problematic relationships. But black men and black women have always been travelers. It then started like right early last year, maybe right around after Kevin died, when black men were going on social media saying, leave the United States. Your money is worth more over here. You have a better opportunity over here. There are more traditional women over here, no matter what race, color, creed is in the United States. Because white women are saying the same thing that you women are saying in the States, you sisters in the States are saying. Y'all leaving us white women are saying the same thing, sisters. So don't think that you can't go to TikTok and find a bunch of white women saying the exact same words verbatim. Black men or white men are leaving, those passport bros, or those are the ones we didn't want. Then why would you care? But my point is this: we're leaving a system. So just in case you hear somebody talk about the ladies only. We're not leaving the United States because of you ladies. No, no, no. And anybody that tries to sell you that, I'll tell you they're lying. We do celebrate that we're having positive relationships over here, those of us few that do, but we're leaving the system. And I think it's scary to other YouTubers to talk like I do in regards to United States. The United States doesn't rank in the top 10 clean water. Colombia ranks in the top 4. United States is like number 37 to 39 when it comes to healthcare and medical. Colombia and most of South America, number 22 and 23. United States does not rank in the top 10, not even the top 20 for education. United States passport ranks number 10 in the world. It's not number 1. It's not even the number 1 passport. Japan is the number 1 passport in the world.
Well, why is that?
When it comes to United States, over 116 different foods in the United States is illegal in other countries. Meaning that whatever you're eating in the States, when you go to the grocery store, 116 things that you get off of the shelf, you can sell that trash to somebody else. That's where we're getting away from. We're getting away from the Republicans versus the Democrats. We're getting away from Biden versus Trump, and none of us are winning. We're getting away from a country there where the inflation rate is 9%, 7%, 6%, but your raise that you got last year was only 3%, a 2% raise. Most of us haven't even seen a 5% raise in the whole time we were working for a particular company. But yet we see inflation. That's where we're getting away from. So just in case you ever wonder what it is, it's not you ladies that we're coming after. Fortunately, we are meeting traditional ladies in other countries, but that's not the crux of what we're leaving for. Lastly, ladies, realize there's a difference between passport bros that are expats, and then you got these Pookies and Ray Rays that are nothing but vacationers. Those guys that are going on, they're the ones that you see on the yachts with the ladies and, ooh, look, I got these Colombian, I got a Brazilian lady, right? Those are Pookies, ladies. Those aren't us. Those guys are on vacation for about 2 weeks, going to Dominican Republic, going to Singapore, going to Thailand. They're going to parts of Africa. They're vacationers. The expats who are actually brothers and others that are relocating, we're starting businesses. We give to just here in Cali, Colombia, my wife and I give almost $1,700 every year to the Children's Cancer Society down here. That has the buying power of $6,000 every year. You've got guys that have actually in the Dominican Republic, you got a group of guys, several guys that have adopted 2 orphanages. And these guys have adopted these orphanages so long that when the kids grow up, the guys actually pay for the first year of college in Dominican Republic for the kids. You have a brother here who just opened up the first Black hotel in Cartagena, Colombia. The brother from the States. This is the stuff that nobody's telling you what passport bros are doing. So ladies, the reason why I say this is don't get passport bro expats confused with Pookie and Ray Ray on vacation. They gonna act the fool, ladies. They gonna be on TikTok. They gonna be on YouTube saying American women ain't this. Come on down here to Colombia. You can party. Those are party boys, ladies. Those aren't us. That's not me. I don't carry myself like that. And none of the guys that are ex-military, that's my neighbors, none of the guys that own businesses around here from the States that are my neighbors, none of us behave like those guys, ladies. So make sure you don't get us confused with the Pookies and the Ray Rays that are partying on vacation.
All right, excellent. Actually, my question was why is Japanese passport is the top? I'm very curious because I didn't know that there was certain
because the Japanese passport, as well as the other 9 that are on the list, have exposure to more countries without having to fill out a visa form or an application. So like America has exposure to a certain amount of countries, and other countries have exposure. Like you got certain countries, especially a lot of African countries, they can only go to like 10, 15 countries. And that's only within their continent. Excuse me. But you have the United States is like 130 something countries that they have that they can go into just with we can go into with just the passport. And you have like Colombia. I think Colombia is like number 39, 30, 30. Yeah, number 39.
Okay.
But and for years, Japan has been number one. They have exposure to the most amount of countries in the world.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up. And Ava writes, yes, you should fly out and find why overseas. Leave tonight. Ava is the Nigerian lady that she swirls, so don't mind her. All right.
No, that's good.
Yeah. All right. Is wanting health insurance, shelter, decent clothes, and healthy food wrong for Black women?
That's not wrong for any woman. That's not wrong from any woman to want. And that's why I have to agree with her in regards to the provision. Let's go with healthcare. Healthcare in the United States, you guys are paying out the yin yang for medication. Paying,
and they put it in law for the last 7 years.
It's free. Even if you get the top, me and my wife pay the top-notch medical insurance. We only pay $100 a month for our medical insurance, the best in the country. Now, remember what I said, United States ranks number 37, Colombia ranks number 22 as far as medical, taking care of yourself. And as far as surgeries, doctors, they're doing it, right?
They're doing it, yeah.
Even if we had, the way our insurance is set up, even if we had 10 children, our medical insurance will only be $100 a month.
It will not go up. Like how the insurance.
Let you get married as a couple in the United States. You are paying far more for less quality, in the United States compared to, and you and your wife, you're paying $200, $300, $400, $500 every time you get paid or per month just for having the average Blue Cross Blue Shield. You ain't even got the top. You're just getting what your company offered you. Yeah. That's the problem that we're talking about, that there is so much opportunity globally. That's why you have a record number of Americans getting passports right now. That's why you have individuals such as myself and guys who already know me already know this. I live in a high upper class suburb, really nice suburban area. A lot of the stores and everything that you got in the States, we got here. We got the same thing here. Here we go. For a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 12-foot vaulted ceilings. We live next to a beautiful lemon tree park that grows nothing but lemons. We actually live in an area where there's nothing, is so secure, really nice area. We get washer and dryer unit, brand new stacked washer and dryer unit. We have a beautiful island stove. We actually have, that includes your cable, your Wi-Fi, all your utilities. We got a parking garage downstairs for our truck, for our SUV. We get all that for $380 a month. So while you are in the United States struggling in your one bedroom apartment in Florida trying to raise 3 kids, and that 1-bedroom apartment is between $1,500 and $1,800 a month, or if you're in Kansas and you're paying that same amount as well. If you're in California, you're paying $2,200 a month for a 1-bedroom, and you're watching a guy on YouTube who just so happened to have a passport and some sense in his head to realize it's the system that's trying to hold us back. Now, if I'm making, let's say me and my wife, we only made $5,000 a month after taxes. If all my bills are less than $1,000 a month because I'm only paying $380 a month for all that I just told you about, now I can invest in properties. Now I can start a business. Home now I can pay cash. I can pay $30,000 cash for a vehicle and not flinch. But go ahead and try to do that. Go after your dreams in the United States while you're paying $100 per pill for medical. Go ahead and do that while you're in the United States, where United States is where most of the chicken that you eat in the United States has been cleaned with the same chlorine that they clean swimming pools with. Go ahead and do that. Go ahead in the United States, go after your dream, and your rent is $2,500 a month, $3,000 a month for a 2 or 3 bedroom in certain states. You see where I'm going with that? And I'm close enough that if anything happens to a family member, I'm only a 3 to 5 hour flight away. So it's not like I'm on the other side of the world. This is South America. But we've been so programmed in the United States to think that the best place to be is work and live in the dark. If we ever walk towards the light of insight and knowledge will blind us and cause us to run back, scurry back into the darkness in which we're comfortable with. And that's why you see certain people get passports and behave like we got some sense, and certain people that don't get passports, but they get passports and they only use it for vacation, because at the end of the day, they got to scurry back into the darkness.
Yeah, and that's how it goes. You know, there are some people that they travel for reasons. Some travel, like you said, to find wives or start a new life, and there are some that just travel just for the fun of things. You know, just to party, screw some nice chicks. You know, some 8s, 9s. You know, I don't reference women to 10s. I try to follow that rule from KS, because you know that's perfection. I go a different route. Everybody can go in regards to women. I feel the scale of perfection differently. So you know that's what them dudes.
I'm with you.
So now let me look at this. Some men don't brag when they become wealthy. Nope. Let's see. Why anyone who has an education brag all you want? You have my permission. Yeah, I mean, well, like we do. Joey Swan's lead in the house chores.
Go back to that one. Go back to this. Go one more.
Oh, one more. Okay.
Yeah, her. Why would anyone who has an education brag? All you want to have is my permission. Give us a little bit clear. Give us a positive. Could you do me a favor? Give us a little bit more clarity in regards to
positive vibes. If you're still building, please clarify this comment right here. This comment right here I posted. If you give clarity, I would appreciate it. Moving on. Let's see. And here's leave fat woman out of this. Okay, that is. Ava writes,
you can't. Over 70% of Americans are considered obese. You can't leave fat in America. That's the oxymoron. You can't say that about men, and you can't say that about women. That's like saying most of America is over 6 feet when only 14% of the world is over 6 feet. You can't leave the fact that most men are 5'10" in the United States out of the equation, because that's how it is around the world. And you can't leave obesity and heart failure and unhealthy foods and unhealthy water, when we're talking about our country, out of the equation. Now you're asking me to tell a lie to you, and I refuse. If I care about you, I'm not going to tell you a lie.
Yeah.
So when I put fat women into it, I can put fat men into it as well. I ain't gonna take the women out, but we can put fat men in it as well. The United States is a fat ass country. Until we come to a conclusion, they're going to continue to make money off of us by feeding us unhealthy foods. And then on the back end, they give us expensive pills that, for most part, they own. The pills makes us even worse, to where we have to get more pills. So they're making money off of a bad food. And then on the other end, on the medical field, they're making money off of us. It's a treadmill. And now you're wondering why you got to work these 15, 16-hour jobs or work 2 or 3 jobs, and you and your loved ones can't get together, and you can't spend a quality time with your kids that you want to, because it's a setup. You're being literally set up to get you on both ends with our diets.
Yeah. Ava writes, I want you men to get your passports, get money, and find foreign wives and live there. Okay.
Like I did. Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know a man who don't cheat on his wife or left his woman when she gains weight. You know, if they're married, I can't really go into that personally, but let's be honest. If you decide if you were not big, but when you get married and you get bigger, because you know men getting big, obviously, because we're in this country, in America. You're in Columbus was different, but it's notorious when you ladies start piling the weight. You think it's not a good, bad thing. Like I said, your beauty is how you keep your body. At the end of it, you know what I'm saying? Whether you pay for it or you go the old-fashioned exercise. And then you gotta try to look aesthetically enough. No man's asking for perfection with the ladies, but we expect wherever you are, try to maintain as best as possible. You get me? You know, a man will take you if you're a little bit bigger, not much, but obviously, you know, you don't want to be like going beyond, let's say, you're touching 10, dress size 10 and above. You get me? Now you're just getting too much big, you know. That's not a story. All right. A husband's role is a set order, balance within the home.
Let's go back to that for a second.
All right.
One of the reasons why men do that And that's a good statement that she made. One of the reasons, well, just one of the reasons why men do that, men look at how you care for you. I'm careful with that word. How you care or see you will be equivalent how you care and see us. As you put on weight, no matter what reason it is, a lot of y'all like to use thyroid and medical reasons and the medication that I'm on and the pills, birth control pills. Everybody wants to use. I had the baby weight. The baby is 17 now. What? Ain't nothing baby about that baby. In 17 years, you couldn't throw off that extra 15 pounds you put on during pregnancy, whatever it may be. Let's look at it for that point of view. But men still see it. The longer that you go not giving a care about you, men subconsciously take it in that you won't give a dang about me. Even if you do care about me and still love me, we see that how can you love me when you don't love you? You see where I'm going with that? Men are rational. We don't automatically say, well,
I'm seeing where you're going with it.
Men actually look at it from the perspective of, wait a minute, if she don't care about her diet and she's the cook of the house for the most part, I know she's not going to care about my diet. And slowly but surely your man pulls back from you and he starts to notice other women that care about their diets. So you're looking at him from the perspective of he looking at her because he's sexy. No, he looking at her because she looked like she give a damn about her body and her health and her weight. And that's what makes her look sexy. I'll say that again. She looks like she give a damn about her body, her looks, and her weight. And that's what makes her look sexy. Not just the figure part, but men in our minds within a millisecond say that woman who's just walking out the gym, who got sweat on her and got that body, she worked for it. And my wife is not working for it. Now, my wife is my gym partner. So we go to the gym every day. So we good. But as for a lot of women, when y'all sit back and y'all get mad at us about, well, I can't help it. If you go to the gym and you really try to, do what needs to be done, we get a nutritionist for my baby and everything after you done had our child or children, and it doesn't work out, I'm your man. I'm with you, baby. But if you ain't doing nothing but running your mouth and you have not went to no gym, not one nutritionist, you ain't changed none of that food that's been in the refrigerator. You have built the same food that's in the refrigerator. You go to Walmart, you purchase literally the same food for 10, 15 years, and you wonder why I'm looking at Keisha, who looked like she just got back from the gym. I'm sorry, looks like she gave a damn about how she looks, and you want to get mad at me. No, babe. I'm looking at you for two things. I want to be attracted to my wife, not Keisha. Keisha is like the replacement thought, the replacement look. The woman that I want who have my kids, I want my wife to be fine. I want her to be gorgeous. I want to be like, dang, that's my work. But men can't say that anymore. With 70% of women in the United States fighting obesity, that's not fair to sit back and expect that man, because you love him, you can't love you, and he's supposed to accept that. And nobody can tell me that you overweight, you over 300 something pounds, and that you showing true love. I didn't say love, but true love to your body. I didn't say to yourself or to your spirit. I said you can't say you love your body and you're cracking 300 pounds. You look like you can block for Barry Sanders. So for all you ladies that got complaints, I'm telling you, this is how men think. This is how we think. You cannot love us if you can't love you.
Yeah, that's the name of the game, man. How you love yourself is reflective. Like I said, and you could tell. And like I said, I've had communication with women that are bigger. Some maybe way overly obese, some big and all stuff. And I sometimes question it. I don't go into too much detail as a person because I get it. But overall, when they talk about the outcomes, especially one particular woman on social media, especially, she's roughly in her 30s. She's very big. I think she's like almost 270, maybe pushing 300 pounds. That's my check. And she wants a man, I guess, either a faithful man or she looked for a husband a man that will, I guess marry her.
Good
I
luck.
I look at not much. I didn't really give her pointers, but if I was gonna be honest, I'd say, sweetie, at the so-called stage of the post-wall stage, and the next couple years will be hitting the wall. That for you to accomplish this, especially in any environment, not just the environment your local town, but just in any environment, you're going to have to look externally exquisite. Besides the personality, if your personality is good, you'll get far, but you will not get far enough because at the end of the day, men are very attracted to a certain appeal and aesthetic. If the bigger you are, it's hard to be attracted because one thing, like Six the God said, the bigger the woman is, the more problems you're gonna have out here, especially the men that you're gonna deal with. You know what I'm saying? Some men obviously gonna look for you to provide because you got it. You get me? Obviously, but that's another story. I'm not going into more detail. Let me just go down. I passed. I'm gonna read your super chat, Joe. I watched. I watched TL. Ever 600-pound woman has a boyfriend or a husband. Okay, I wouldn't be surprised that she's paying. And mind you, if a lot of these celebrity shows, these shows, I'm gonna be honest with you, Dre. I want black women to come to reality. Listen to me good. I watch basic cable television, right? The television you consume today, for the last decade, all these reality TV shows, they're scripted. When we talk about reality, no man, the man who has economic background, or even if he's a foreigner, if he's getting a woman, listen good, that is quadruple or whatever her size, and is getting a husband, we have to conclude one of two things. You're paying for it. He needs a visa because a foreign man she's talking about in that comment. Obviously, he's getting a green card out of this. By the time he gets acclimated in the United States social order, he's going to move on to other things. Unless you're paying to keep him around. No man is going to deal with, just in general, a woman that's that big, super big. We have not seen it in history, and we're not going to see it in the present and future today. If you're basing that, you see one or two exceptions, which is not really logic because it's not in reality because those are TV shows. Don't think that it's the general rule. That man's gonna come out, either he's broke or got money and say, God, I'm looking for a God-fearing woman, a sweet woman. I don't care how big she is. Men are lying. We're capping. And trust me, Dre, because black men have a bad reputation of, screwing and mess with most of any size women. It kind of fills the head for other women, not only just black, but generally all race women, saying that since you gonna take any woman, this is the reason why you're the garbage in the dating pool. Which really, be honest with you, it's now changing. How we know? Look at what the men are speaking now. Not only in your line of circle, but in social media. Men are not gonna be vouching and say, I'm dealing with women that too big. If they deal with women big, that's only if he needs to smash. And even that, some men are even holding better standards. The dudes that smash big women, they're going to do it behind closed doors, and they do it where no one knows that he's smashing. It is disrespectful to know saying the only time you get that attention is when a man hit you up just to get a quick bust. And before the sun rises, he's gone. Is that what we're basing your what do you call it? Basing your value, or your value that you getting the D. When I hear a lot of women that are big, they say this is their value. They can still get access to D.
I always say this to women that are a little full-figured. What the quality of the men that you get? I mean, most of the time when I see bigger women with guys that are quality men, really quality men, they've been together for a few years. They were together when both of them were small. They built a business or a family together, and now they're in their 50s and 60s. And she's put on weight, he's put on weight, and to the death do they part. Those couples are, just average, just average, just growing older together.
Mhm.
But when I see couples, let's say under 40, and she a big girl and he ain't a big dude, two things. Either he's a guy that has a big girl fetish, and you got some guys that are like that.
There's some that's out there.
Or most of the time I see guys that haven't built their life to the point of confidence to have the type of woman that they really want to have. A lot of you ladies that are big, you can look right next to your man right now. Look at him right now. All you big girls that's in the comment, those going to be watching this afterwards. I promise you this. If he was on his feet, like he really did want to be on his feet, I'm not talking about couples that grew together. I'm talking about couples that he ain't big and you big. If he was on his feet economically, socially, mentally, spiritually, on his feet, you would not be his first choice. Look at your man right now. I don't care if you pop him on the back of the head. He's dreaming about getting on his feet. He is right now dreaming about the type of house, car, and woman that he really wants to be with. You want a perfect example of that? Steve Harvey.
Okay.
Steve Harvey is a perfect example. As you saw his first wife, as his money grew, you saw his second wife.
Yeah.
You saw Marjorie. Once he started hitting the 50, 60 million, you saw Marjorie. I don't care what anybody say about how we don't like Marjorie. For her age, Marjorie is a gorgeous, beautiful woman.
Yeah.
The stage or level in which that man is in is what the quality of woman he's going to acquire or he's going to feel comfortable with acquiring. Now, me, I just went on here and just got the woman that I deserve, that if I got 100,000 or once we crack 1 million, that woman right there going to still be on my side.
Of
and
course.
there are other guys that have women that are like that.
Mhm.
Like I said, there are couples that just grow older and put on weight together. But as for just a scenario in which we're describing, like a smaller dude with a bigger woman, that's because his confidence level within himself as a man is not what it needs to be, or his money's not up. You paying the rent, or you paying most of the rent. Yeah, I got 3 or 4 kids, but he knows that if he leaves you, he gonna have to come out of child support and that paycheck, so he know to keep his butt there. So now he with this big girl for 7, 8, 9, 10 years, hoping that by the time the kids get older, that he can go ahead and leave you. He's only around because he don't want to pay child support. I'm gonna say this again. A lot of you women, look at your man right now. Y'all got 2 or 3 kids. The only reason he ain't left you, not because he love you, boo, but because he ain't trying to pay that child support to the government. But once 18 years are up, I'm out, because deep down inside, men want the best. And you might be all right for right now for the quality of man that I am, because I'm just all right. But if I was up there economically, physically, like getting his diet together and getting himself physically right, and mentally getting himself right as far as education, insight, knowledge, spiritually getting himself right with meditation, prayer, and having some type of belief. Oh, lady, you ain't the one he choosing. And I'm gonna tell you on the other scale, if there was ladies do the same thing to us. Once ladies get education, get their body right, get their spirits right, they ain't looking for Big Keith down the street that they was dating since they 32. They dated Keith since he was 22. But once you got that degree and it opened up economic doors for you to where you can afford to go to the gym and get that body right, and you can afford to get those outfits, you ain't with Keith fat ass no more. You done find you some, even if you got you a boy toy, he looks like the boy toy that needs to be on your arm compared to Keith when you was 22 years old. Yeah. Keith got boobs now. You ain't with no man boobs and you got a PhD. So ladies, you do the exact same thing to us. So don't be upset at you don't want to be with Keith fat ass no more, and we don't want to be with your fat ass once we get on track.
All right. And as you know, A writes, a woman will lose weight after a relationship most times. Yeah, some way. Super chat, Joe Swan, $20. Thank you, Joe. Most sisters are mad because we have the choice to deal with them or a woman overseas. Their actions and the laws within the U.S. have pushed us to find what we want overseas. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And what else here? And I'm going up, scroll down. Oh, matter of fact, Positive, they wrote the comment. I'm scrolling all the way down. How much weight did the man gain? Now I'm not sure what you mean by that, but
How much weight did
you,
the man
yeah, I mean,
gain?
I
I'm
have
gonna
no
spill my
idea.
water. How
Yeah,
much weight did the man gain? What?
Pause. You're going to go in detail, and I'm probably going
Yeah.
to drop the call link for those that want clarification in a few minutes. Because I don't mind y'all chatting, because some of the questions are a little more deep, and maybe y'all come up be more clarity. But you might have to rephrase that, or
Yeah.
give detail. And I see
And the
Deidre Red
statement that Joy made, and going back to the statement that Joy made in regards to the United States and how our system is set up, things like that. I always say this when it comes to relationships. And ladies, hear me out. Once again, it's nothing against you. It's the system. That's why guys are getting their passports. That's why women are getting their passports. It's the system.
Mhm.
We're tired of the system. I'll give you a perfect example. I was on Lead Attorney a couple weeks ago, and Lead said, "Come on, Dre, you can find love here in America." I say, "Yes, you can." I said, "You can find the right love in America, man or woman." There's some amazing women in the United States. Only a fool would say that. Gorgeous women, supportive women, women on your team in the United States. I'm the first one to say that. You might find love, but you will not find the right laws. You will find love, but you will not find the right laws in the United States for a man or a woman. In the United States, they taking women's kids and give it to the daddy just fast now as they used to give it to the mamas. Mamas can lose their kids just fast right now in the United States as a man could. A man could wake up in the morning on you ladies after being married to you for 15 years since y'all was in high school and tell you, "I'm done." No fault. No excuse. He could just say, he ain't cheating. I want to live. I want to get my passport and go to Thailand. In the United States, ladies, the laws ain't on your side either. They changing the laws right now in certain states where you can't even get lifetime alimony. They're changing the laws in many states, and we're gonna lock a lot of these ladies up for false paternity tests.
Fraud. Yep, I'm hearing about that.
A lot of you ladies about to go to jail. A lot of you ladies we already saw an uptick over the last 15 years of more women incarceration than men incarceration now. Now they about to really put the hammer down. And all the ladies that's out there lying about that's the baby daddy ain't gonna be no, "Oh, well, man, we'll just go find the daddy." No, they about to lock your happy tail up now. So a lot of things are changed to where there's no laws for love in the United States. I'll say that again. There are no laws for love. I live in a no-fault country. I'll give you a perfect example. I just so happen to have the chart up, Chaos. In Colombia, in order to get a divorce, there are 9 reasons.
Can you pull up? I want to show if you could.
Let's
share
see if I can share it.
Let's share.
I don't know if I can do screen share. What I can do is send you the link.
No. You can share it in the StreamYard. If you're on your computer.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I don't know how to share in the stream.
Go to
there we go. I see what you're talking about.
Presentation.
I see what you're talking about. I never did a screen share as a guest. So this is my first time doing it as a guest.
Well, it's first time for everything. Go ahead.
Yeah, there we go.
All right.
So let's go to window. Let's go to Chrome. Divorce. There we go. In Colombia. There we go. We're looking at it right now. Okay. In Colombia, there are 9 reasons in order to get a divorce. Colombia divorce rate is 9%. Why is it 9%? Because if you don't fit one of these criterias, you can't just wake up in the morning. A man could just walk out on his wife, or a wife could just wake up and just say, "I want half your stuff." You can't do that. You can't do a Jeezy, in other words. First of all, extramarital affair, failure for full spousal duties, your responsibility as a man or a woman, physical abuse. Now, this here in Colombia.
Okay.
Alcoholism, you can get divorced. Drug use, she can file for a divorce, or he can. Illnesses risking the health of the other spouse, like HIV, things like that, you can get a divorce. You've been separated for 2 years. You hadn't been divorced yet, but you decided to get separated. You want to come back and file for a divorce. You have to be separated at least 2 years. Mental abuse. Now, ladies, come on now. It is not the men who master the art of mental abuse, even though many men out there are doing that. But in the United States, women with their mouth Can't nobody talk reckless like a woman can. So mental abuse is another reason, and mutual agreement. You both have to literally agree that we are going to get this divorce. And then, of course, you know, the things that you would have to split up is like real estate, marital debts, family business, any vehicles, personal belongings, financial access and accounts and cash, alimony, if applies, which rarely applies, marital settlement amounts. And usually what they mean by that is that in Colombia, whatever you brought into the marriage, you keep. Whatever y'all made, money that y'all made, or house that y'all made or purchased, or property or land or anything it is, a car, y'all split that 50-50. There is no, well, I'm gonna get him for all his millions that he made. You can't touch those millions in Colombia. And even if the person moved back to America, let's say you married an American and they decide, I'm gonna leave you, I'm leaving Colombia, I'm going back to America. The Colombian laws still apply. That person can't just up and say, well, I'm gonna divorce you if they don't meet any of these criterias right here.
So no matter, it'll transfer over. So if you marry in this country, you come live in the United States. Okay,
yes,
makes sense.
Colombia is one of the few countries where if you marry a Colombian, you have to divorce them by way of the Colombian rules. To whereas most countries are set up, it's based on the country that the person that filed the divorce is located. Okay. So wherever you're located, let's say I'll give a perfect example. A lot of people don't know this one. I'm going to take this off the screen real quick. Okay. But a lot of people don't realize is that in Dominican Republic is one of the few countries in the world you can file for a divorce and don't have to tell that person that you're filing divorce from them. Oh, you can literally fly to DR, file a divorce on your wife, fly back to the States as if nothing happened. Or even better, you can fly your wife to DR as if you guys are on vacation, file for a divorce, and she don't know nothing. One dude divorced his wife 20 years prior to because he knew she was going to eventually try to take his money. And then she went to go for the money, and her attorney told her, you can't file for a divorce from your husband. Why? You already divorced, ma'am. What do you mean? Your husband divorced you 20 years ago on a vacation in the DR.
God damn.
So divorce laws in different countries don't apply like the United States. So ladies, if you think that you can come to other countries and just wake up in the morning and I'm gonna divorce my man like you can do in the States, I suggest many of you men and many of you ladies stay right where you are in the States, where you could just freely, willy-nilly just divorce somebody and just wreck the kid's life like many people do in the United States. Have fun with that one.
God damn, that is a drum. Boom. I gotta love it because now I just said, oh, you know, I build up this marriage up to a point where it's 20 years. And one lady asked, what are you drinking? One lady asked, what are you drinking? On the cup. It's a cup.
Just water. Just water. Water with lime.
Yeah.
Just water with lime.
That's cool. Yeah, they wake up or they decide to say, all right, it's time to cash out. She called her lawyer. I'm about to divorce my husband. I need a paper. Madam, divorce who? What do you mean? I'm divorced. Ma'am, you've been divorced for the last 20 years.
20 years.
Well, how much collect them? We can help you, madam. Your husband decided to end the relationship, but he didn't tell me nothing. You don't have to know about that. But that's so sinister, but it makes sense because anytime you get tired, it says move on. You'll still stay around because she don't really investigate. And that tells you if there was a prenups or anything. It doesn't apply in certain countries. They don't go by that.
Yeah, I was looking at the divorces in Europe, in many Scandinavian countries, that the divorce will be completed in less than 6 months. The alimony cannot be any more than $1,000, and it can only apply for 6 months while the divorce proceeding is going on. There is no alimony in certain parts of Europe where I'm gonna get paid for life. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that in a lot of countries.
Like the United States.
Yeah, like the United States, like one woman said, she said, also long drawn out divorces. One lady said in the documentary I'm watching right now, she said, we were only married 4 months. My divorce process has been 6 years. Another woman said, mine has been 7 years. Another man with his ex-wife sitting right there says, we've been trying to get a divorce from the time that we filed, and it's been 8 years because attorneys and judges, everybody's getting paid. All these people behind the scenes are getting paid in the United States when it comes to divorce. So when some female wakes up, when one of you ladies wake up in the morning and say, I'm divorcing you, I'm everything, you just don't know how long it's going to take everything in the United States compared to other countries. It's the system. I think I'm the only one that kind of like speaks on a regular basis about the reason why the passport bro movement among black men and white men and Latin men and Asian men is so strong. It is, and passport sis, because a lot of us as Americans realize it's not us that's the problem, it's the system. And we can never make enough money in a lifetime to keep up with the system. So a lot of us realize, okay, if I make online money, or I'm a retiree, ex-military, or Social Security, or whatever it may be, or I have an online job, I could do the same job from New Zealand. I could do the same. Well, I don't want to choose New Zealand because that's an expensive country, or Portugal, Spain,
Okay,
Italy selling houses right now for $1. I saw one brother go over and buy him one of those $1 houses. Man, he hooked that house up so well in Italy, in Sicily as well, the island outside of Italy. You could come down here to South America where your dollar is worth $5 every time I purchase something. I go to the best restaurants, 5-star restaurants. Me and my wife just got back from seeing the ballet, the Russian ballet that just came to town that just did Black Swan, Swan Lake. You get a chance to go to some of the best golf courses that in the United States, it would be too expensive for you to go to. You get exercise. You in the United States, you go to the gym, it costs you an arm and a leg to get a trainer. Down here, it costs next to nothing to get the same quality of trainer and a nutritionist. It costs you less than $100 a month to have you a full-scale maid. Yeah, I said it, maid and cook in your home if you and your wife decide you want to go that route. But yeah, y'all just have to stay in the United States and struggle. And y'all wondering why everybody's at the post office getting these passport applications and at least going to see if what I'm saying is the truth. If I'm lying, prove me wrong. You built one hove, build another hove. Prove me wrong.
You know, I mean, I've traveled not too many countries, mostly, you know, some parts of the Caribbean and Canada per se. So, I mean, not saying I'm not or say against traveling. I tell people you're going to travel responsibly and travel maybe as you get older for a purpose. And let's be honest, it would be nice to see the world if you could afford it. Like I said, starting like to those smaller countries close like Mexico, South America, and especially the Caribbean islands will be a start. And then you work your way up to other parts, you know. But that's just me. But let me read this comment. And I did put the call line for those who want to come and have questions now. Femi writes, some men don't change in their mental behavior once they get money. Case in point, Kevin Samuels, question, laughing out loud. So we are mad at people for being human?
Go ahead. I'll let you respond first.
I will say this. I'm going to leave this up. In regards to Kevin always had bigger aspirations and desires. He did work for himself since 2015-ish up to his transition in 2022. That's roughly a span of 7 years. How I know? Because he has videos of himself back in 2015. I think he had a YouTube channel around that time. And he had a course in Udemy in 2016 on how to dress. So he transitioned from working to the entrepreneur route for the last under a decade. You get me? And throughout his own journey, there's going to be bumps and bruises, because remember, when you leave in one part of a comfortable system to really venture off and do what you need to do, your desires and your dreams, is a fight in itself. So wherever he was always that. He always got to look good, smell good. You know the story with Kevin. So the more money he has, the only thing is emphasize what he already is. So in regards of his mentality, I don't think Kevin had a mentality issue. I think he was always like this. The money only shows what he gonna do when he makes more money. Now, the only thing I will regret he should have did when he start making 8 or more figures, he should have started made and structure a network to take some load off.
Yeah.
Back in 2021.
Yeah.
He should not have got to a point where he was going to now start at it at the end of the last few months of his life, which he was already moving that direction. That should have been done a year in advance, because when you start making more money and then you start hitting those figures around that year, that's when you start to put those things in place. Once you start hitting, from what I'm hearing, you start making $1 million, you should already start put things in place immediately. You get me? Because you have the capital now. That's the only thing I regret Kevin should have done, in my opinion. Now, a lot of people are going to agree with, I mean, actually, they're going to disagree. They're going to hate what I just said. I'm keeping real. You, Dre, myself.
Okay.
If you make a first million a year, right? Or we're already climbing up to $1 million and we're just touched $1 million now. We all know that's not going to be the million. We're going to still play money. That money should be used to not only reinvest, but now say, now I got an audience. My brand is at a point now. Now it's time to start people.
Even at $500,000, I'm not editing my own videos anymore.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I'm not editing my own videos anymore. I'm not doing, you know, certain services that we do with our brand. I'm not doing those things anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm out, you know, I'm out outsourcing those things. So yes, I agree with you 100%. The one mistake that Kevin made was still doing it all himself. He's doing consultations and from people from Egypt calling him at 3 o'clock in the morning. Oh, he's got a consultation with somebody before they go to work in the States at 5 o'clock in the morning. He's got another consultation at 1 o'clock. Kevin going around the clock at the same time, trying to have a social life, because a lot of people don't realize Kevin was an avid biker, you know, a spin class instructor. At the same time, he was a avid biker. So he'd always done that as a major thing, as his you know, his stress outlet. He should have let the Red Bulls alone, as we all know. But at the end of the day, the one mistake, and I noticed more anything in her statement, was the laughter, the LOL. Let's go back to her statement.
Yeah. All right.
The LOL. The one thing that Black women didn't realize was this: Kevin Samuels was on your side more than he was on the men's side. Kevin Samuels tried his best to show women, if you want this, then you have to present this to get that. When it comes to, he said the same thing to men for 5 years. He only was with you guys a year and a half. He told us that, the same cussing out, the same fussing out, the same demeanor that you guys, I really would recommend that most women go back and watch the first 5 years of Kevin Samuels and saw how he talked to men. You think he talked to y'all crazy? No, he talked to us straight reckless. You fat as hell and you want a fine woman? Man, if you don't get your... Kevin was straight raw with us. The difference is men not wired emotionally, so we never took it from an emotional point of view, because we all knew he right, I am fat as a fuck. And I shouldn't be trying to get these hot chicks if I ain't got that type of money. The other thing that he said, she said, so men don't change their mental behavior once they get money. When we start talking about the topic of men, we'll talk about men. But at that moment when we made that statement, we were talking about women. That's the problem with women. Y'all always want to move the goalpost. Instead of sticking to the topic at hand, you always want to, but what about men? Well, children do that. Well, we're not talking about children at this particular time. When we're talking about children, we'll discuss that and behavior patterns. When we're talking about men, we'll discuss that. But at that moment in time, we were talking about women. So take it in as a woman, eat the meat, spit out the bones, but stop trying to move the goalposts like you always do. Just take the lesson, embrace it, or just ignore it. But at the end of the day, stop doing that. But men. It makes y'all sound like little girls. He did it too. He does it too. He does do it too. But we're not talking about him, Kimberly. We're talking about you. Now, I know your name's not Kimberly, but I'm just using it as a metaphor. So stick to the topic at hand and stop trying to ask us to move the goalposts. And as you could tell, if Kevin was not on you ladies' side, because I'm not. I'm the complete opposite of Kevin. I'm Kevin. I'm like Dennis Sperling, more like Dennis Sperling than Kevin Samuels. I ain't about to cuss you out. I'm gone. When Kevin blew up, I was already gone. I'm living the best life that I can live in another country. I'm about to sit up here and try to convince you ladies to fall in love with me and go to a gym and get yourself on track. And for all you ladies that think that Passport Bros that we weren't smashing the best of you, ladies, I was smashing the best of you. All you little six-figure women, y'all disappoint me. I'm gonna say this again before I let this go on. You know what the biggest disappointment is, chaos to me? Six-figure educated women. Because I thought being a hood brother, when I decided not to be a hood brother anymore, I said, okay, I'm in the hood and I'm being intimate with Keisha and Aisha, but they not the best quality of women. So maybe if I get my education, I dress a little better, I become more articulate with my vernacular, I can get figure sisters. Got up to the six-figure sisters, and they just as ratchet as dirt. The sisters that are judges, doctors, Fortune 500 CEOs and CFOs and COOs, all the sisters that are corporate this and corporate that, all the sisters that are practitioners, all the college professor sisters, the AKA, the ski weeks and all them, every one of them sisters, just as all y'all do is got enough money to make it look fancy and make it look good. And I could get their coochie just as fast as I could get Keisha's. I was so disappointed once I started getting these very attractive, elegant, ladylike sisters that once you close the front door, they just as ratchet and as gossipy and as backbiting as LaWanda and them that live in the projects of Detroit. That was one of the reasons why you see so many dudes get passports, not because we couldn't smash you sisters, but because those of us that were smashing the quality sisters realized you weren't quality sisters. You were quality at the job. You were quality in church, in the mosque, in the temple. But you were quality compared to Aisha in the hood. But once us quality brothers started sleeping with y'all, we were like, what the? But you got a 5-bedroom house. You don't even know my middle name. And I done smashed you in all 5 of those bedrooms, and I've only known you for 3 days. So when it comes to these women with these degrees in education, us quality passport bros, we know better. And so if you want to put it on a dating scale, if you, which is not true, but I'm going to put it like this before I end it. If you want to put it in a way that Andre left the United States because of women, it was because of you educated women that I smashed through, and y'all was no good. If anybody disappointed me, it was not the sister in the hood that disappointed me. It was all you high-figure, money-making, got your Mercedes Benz, got your Porsche trucks, females. I would smash you in the back of that Porsche truck. You disappointed me. You disappointed a lot of us brothers and said, you know what? If I can smash her as fast as I can smash Keisha, let me find a country where women I can't smash as easy as I can smash her and smash Keisha. And my wife was one of those women. My wife told me right out the gate, I like you, I'm attracted to you, but we ain't doing this on the first, just right out that's not. And she caught my eye because she was one of the first women that made me, what? We ain't. No, we're not doing this. I don't know you. I don't know if you got disease or what, Andre. I don't know. What? A woman actually told me no? Who is this woman? Pray tell. And so there are a lot of women. A lot of people don't realize Colombia is not a hookup culture also. In the United States, I could smash through you professional women on a one-night stand. You come to Colombia, that is not going to happen. That does not happen. Party girls, yes, you can smash them the first night. Pay for play, yes, you can. In other words, women of the night in the red light districts, yes, you can. Women that's trying to scam you out of money in South America, yes, you can, them. But their average, everyday, hardworking, educated, or focused woman in Colombia, this is not a hookup culture. You are not about to get that coochie the first night like you can in the United States from Keisha and you educated sisters.
Well, that explains it all. I'm saying explains it all. Hope that answers the question. What else I got? Ava writes, why would you compete for a man when you can be a rich man? I'm not sure what that means, but okay.
Go back.
You want to go back? She writes, why would you compete for a man when you can be a rich man? I think she's talking about
so
why
we already know
regular men-
statistically there's not enough men in the world as it is. Most
Yeah.
cultures and countries know that it's innate to compete for a man, not just because there's not enough of us, but there's not enough of the quality or type of man that you, AVA, would even want. You got competition. You're not the only one. Let's say, AVA, I can't see you as well. You're not the only one that's beautiful because I can't see your photo. I'm assuming you're beautiful. You're not the only one that's beautiful. You got competition. You're not the only one with education or focus or drive. You got competition. You're not the only one that can make a plate for a man. You got competition. You ain't the only one that can sex him down in the late night hour. Sister, you got competition. But in the United States is an assumption that because we are the same hue, you got first dibs. You assume that I'm supposed to be with you despite your emotional irrational behavior, despite the fact that you're going through some issues because dad wasn't in the house, despite the fact that you may be going through some weight issues with the other 70% of people in the United States, despite the fact that you feel like you're a diva because you got an education and a couple of jobs and a few dollars in your bank account, even though you're paying off college debt, despite all that, you think you got first dib on me because of this. You ain't got to improve yourself. You ain't got to lose no weight. You ain't got to have no better behavior. You just automatically assume right out the gate that you're not supposed to compete for me, and I'm not supposed to but I ain't supposed to compete for you. No, we compete for each other. And around the world, the norm in all the countries that I've gone to, men compete for a good woman, and good women compete for a good man. Now, ratchet people, they ain't got to compete for nothing. But us good people like you are, AVA, we compete for each other because there's not that many AVAs out there and there's not that many Andres out there. So we got to compete. We got to compete. But in the United States, women don't think they got to compete. And that's why you losing out to these other women in foreign countries that realize the competition is deep.
It's fierce. It's fierce. She comes out with, and here's another comment. Most men will settle. A woman has to be willing to marry you. In some way, yeah. Let me see what's.
That's true.
And if we are honest, AA men have a bad reputation around the world. I think she's talking about African American men.
No, that's not true.
That's not true. I would say it's true, but it's not really true. From what, if a man could still date a certain woman, that's not really logical.
I'll tell you why. That goes back to how I started off the live stream.
Yeah,
I'm not looked up on as my color in the outside the United States. I'm looked up on as American. As soon as I open my mouth, I could be among it's over 4.5 million Afro-Colombians here in Colombia. Actually, it's 5 million Afro-Colombians. Your brothers and sisters that were on the other side of the ships is more here. Let's get it straight. There's only 6% of the ships landed in the United States. 400,000 people landed in the United States. 75% of the ships landed in the Caribbean, South America. Most of your cousins that you ain't never meet, all your aunties, your mamas, all of them are here in South America in the Caribbeans. And even in Central America, starting in Mexico, because there's over 3.5 million in Mexico of black people. So at the end of the day, if I don't say anything, I blend in with the rest of my brothers and sisters. But as soon as I open my mouth or how I carry myself, my energy, he an American. Everything else, this don't mean a damn thing. He got money. He's got education. There are assumptions in other countries about being American. Some good, some bad. They think that we're arrogant, we're rude, we're disrespectful, we're loud, and we are. We're the loudest people in Colombia. You can tell you American walking down the hall. We just be in a regular conversation. You can just hear American 3 blocks away in a regular conversation. But there are some good things about us. And so since we have such positive things that people see about us, they don't see this as much as. There are some things that you can get away with as a black woman in other countries that you could never get away with in the United States. There are things that I can get away with as a black man, not because of my hue, because of my ethnicity. My culture or my race is black. My ethnicity is American. That's my ethnic group. So you're judged by your ethnicity outside the United States, not just by your race. I can be around all Nigerians and all black people from different cultures. I could be in Europe, right around all white people, and they could treat them bad. Soon as I say something, completely different behavior, completely different treatment. I've heard some brothers say that. He say, "Now I know how white people feel." A black man with a passport knows how white people feel in the United States. I don't say that. I just heard a brother say that before. He say a black man wisely, not these pookies, wisely using his passport knows how a white man feels in the United States. And I hate that statement, but to a small part, as far as feeling like an American, you do, because the United States, a black person is not celebrated as an American, even though we're Americans. But once you leave, that's all they call you, American. That's it. Anybody calling you black except your own people, of course, and you call black American. I'm not considered an Afro-Colombian. I'm considered a black American or an American, only black. They don't even put the black in. They just be like, oh, yeah, American. Your own people won't even call you black. They call you just American. They accept you as black, but they don't call you black.
Yeah, they will accept you. And one thing, I'm not ignoring the chat because there's so many comments. Are the Pastor Bros quiet as it's kept? I don't know, I mean like quiet, or like I know they're saying like they're expressing that they're leaving.
And are the Passport Bros as quiet as yes? Most of us, other than myself and others that try to give forth a positive image of what the Passport Bro movement is, they're quiet. You won't know that we take care of orphanages. You won't know that dudes like Ace Live went to Venezuela and gave $30,000 to Children's Cancer Foundation. You don't realize that we give money to Children's Cancer Foundation here, because being a passport bro, an expat, you don't brag about where you. That's like being a person from Michigan and you going to you moving to Illinois or moving to to Texas, and you're still bragging about Michigan. None of us do that. We're not braggadocious. Ladies, hear me out, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Most of the dudes that you hear on those TikToks and YouTubes and bragging, trying to put the ladies down, those are vacationers. Those are dudes that white dudes and black dudes that they're vacationers. They're not expats. They're not travelers. They're not in the sense of relocators. So when you hear that, oh, I found me a good one. 9 times out of 10, he don't even live there. He's visiting, but he doesn't live there. There are very few of us that are true passport bros. So don't get the passport bros mixed up with a traveler. And I think that's the mistake that a lot of women are making.
Yeah, that's a lot of mistake. As Joey writes, passport bros aren't quiet about traveling outside the U.S. Many women just thought it was a joke till they saw the results of men leaving. And Ava responds earlier, because they know most men will never leave America. And it's true. I think 7% of Americans in general, you said it's constantly, Dre, that they're going to live and die in America. And that's not 50%. That's over almost passing grade, over 7%. Reason why? Because people, 6%. Reason why? Because people are comfortable where they're at. They don't like to be moving around, bounce around environment. It gets tiring. It's very strenuous. It's stressful. You get me? But that's the reason why.
72% of all Americans will live and die within a 50-mile radius of the hospital in which they were born. If you were born in Alabama, you have a 72% chance that you will pass on to Alabama. If you were raised in California, you have a 72% chance that you will pass on within a 50-mile radius in the area in which you were born. If you were raised in New York, you have a 72% chance that your black ass ain't going nowhere anyway. So I have to agree with the sister in regards to most women don't feel like they need to compete because most men ain't going nowhere for real.
Yeah,
she's right.
I mean, and then this gonna be the ones that are not gonna do what they're gonna do. You got a plethora of men and pool of falses to jump on, ladies. You'll be on that, and this is this new tune that you might not catch this. I call this a unique soundbite. A lot of women are going to be. Where is my soundbite? They're gonna be
in the building.
They're gonna be on. I like to call it, and it's unfortunate. They'll be on the carousel.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
they mean.
share bears. Share bears.
Yeah. Sure best. Yep. One guy writes, tell her ask for a unicorn while she's at it. Okay. Yeah. Men go through a rites of passage, and it takes usually their 20s to develop into grown men. Yeah. I hope that it's the Havana Club. Yeah. Yeah. All right, I got somebody downstairs. I have probably 2 more questions, but I'm gonna let somebody come up now. Let me make sure to check this. All right, Bradley. All right, brother, bro, speak. How you doing?
I'm
Shout out
all
to
right,
you, brother.
Chaos. How you doing? How you doing, Mister?
I'm good.
How you doing?
I'm good.
All right.
Yes. Any questions? Yes, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I did have a question because I think you might have answered it in earlier, but do you think those guys who, the ones that we see make the most noise about how these other women are better than the women here, do you think they're doing it out of spite towards these modern women, or is it just they're so not used to these different women that they just got to say something, or like you say, they bragging? What's your take on those guys?
I think that it stems from everything that you just said. Some guys have been hurt. Okay, so they get a chance to jab back at some of the ladies, and they jabbing back. Some dudes are just doing it because they are braggadocious, because their self-esteem is not high. I've never been a guy that brag no matter where I go or what I've done or who I'm with. Oh, look at my wife, look at this, look at that. We have a Facebook page and we showcase, couple love, but we don't, you never see me like, look at what I got. Those are guys that walk in insecurity, guys that act like they, once again, they never been nowhere, never had nothing. Especially in South America, we have to come to a conclusion. Some of the most beautiful women in the world, Brazil ranks #1 in the world for the most beautiful women. Venezuela ranks #3. Colombia is #5. So you can't ignore that everywhere you walk down the street. I mean, you see 8 9s, 8 7s, 8s 9s all day long in the grocery store. That work in the grocery store. That it's just some of the most gorgeous women you've ever seen. Some of the most fit women you've ever seen. You live where they develop Miss Universes, are born here. Sofia Vergara is from Barranquilla, Colombia. I mean, it's Shakira, Colombia. I mean, it's just so many actors and actresses that are Afro-Colombian and Afro-Latinas that come from this diaspora. And so a lot of times guys who have never seen a black woman that's Latin, such as the women in DR, they haven't had that experience. And so they kind of like get overexcited with it. And so, but in their being overexcited, they make the mistake of not realizing you're hurting somebody else's feelings. You could be happy, but you don't have to belittle women in the name of being happy for yourself. See, that's what I'm not about. I'm not about, putting down the modern woman just to beat my chest of, look what I have in Dominican Republic. That's not right. That's not fair. So I agree with everything that you just said.
Okay. I had another question. Like, now, guys like you who see this and you know that it's not doing any of these guys any favors, do y'all try to talk to these guys, or are you just like, well, I mean, that's them, or like how do you kind of try to combat that?
I would say 90% of my circle and the guys that I do consultations with and the guys that I know in the chat and the guys that live here are like guys like you and I, everyday guys just living an everyday life. It just so happens to be in another country. So we communicate with each other, keep each other on point, whether it's don't go to that particular side of a particular city, or, hey, I found a nice restaurant, or, hey, if you're two single guys, they're like, I got a girl, you got a girl, let's meet up and go out to dinner. So we kind of like keep each other in check. I got a friend named Kenny. He's ex-Navy brother. He stays on the other side of the city. I go see Kenny just to check up on my brother, make sure everything's all right. Even though he has his girlfriend, he in love. But at the end of the day, just to be able to look out for each other. That's the one thing the mature, cool brothers are doing, even some of the younger brothers. Now, the vacation dudes, you can't tell them nothing. The Pookies and the Ray Rays, you can't. The dudes that throw the money in the air, the dudes that walk around and they pay for bodies, pay for the ladies of the night, you can't tell them nothing. We tried all that. The dudes that get drugged and robbed, the dudes that end up in a morgue and nobody's coming to pick up their body because they don't have a passport to verify who that person is. We don't talk to them dudes. We're done with that. We did that for like 4 or 5, 6 years. We did YouTube videos on that. We tried to get those guys to have a mentor and enlightenment, but they too on the wild side. I need the wildness. So you do what you need to do, Pookie. Do your thing, brother. Party, 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 party. But as for the rest of us, mature men, the most of us that are like you two guys on this panel, like all of us, we try to look out for each other because Pookie and them, one of the signs of being a Pookie is you're unteachable. You can't tell Pookie nothing. Pookies are unteachable and emotional. So think about it. You're trying to help an unteachable, emotional black man in another country, and he got money and ain't nothing but gorgeous women around. He ain't hearing a word you gotta say.
Yeah,
and that's sad.
Yep. And I'm glad you're saying that because that's what it seemed like. That's the same thing that happens here on these YouTube streets when you're trying to tell some of these guys stop going after these women all the time, but they think that you the simp or you weak or all kinds of things. It's like, okay, well, hey, that's you. Do what you do. I'm just gonna step out the way and let you get buried. I'm not. It's like, dude, and I'm not getting paid to do it. No, listen.
Like down here, we have like 30 brothers. I say 15 of us that meet up every Monday. We have our little sports bar. We'll either watch a football game, basketball game. We'll listen to some salsa music, or they let us take over the DJ booth. So we playing all our old school American music, and it's just about 15 of us of different ages and stages of life, and guys that are coming in from out of town for the first time, coming to Cali, Colombia, and we just hang out. We just enjoy. We may not see each other all week because all of us got businesses and we're working in jobs, and some guys are working online. But we just make sure that we can check on each other. We got a WhatsApp group that we communicate. That's about 100 people in 2 or 3 WhatsApp groups that we communicate with each other all day long. I'm always picking up guys from the airport so they can feel more comfortable when the first face they see is a brother from the States. So we always try to do things like that. But for Pookie, he could get his own ride from the airport. No. Pookie want to know where the ladies at, where the brothels at, Dre, where the paper plates. See, Pookie ain't trying to do nothing, right? He on vacation. He only here for like 3 days to 3 weeks, and he trying to tip as much as he can. And Pookie ain't gonna know where no clubs are, no bars are, because we'll never tell him. Never. We never talk to those dudes. They never find out, and they go home disappointed when they at least coming down here to Cali, Colombia. We don't tell them nothing. Now Medellin or Cartagena is set up differently. But for the most part, most of us mature guys, we hang out with each other. We encourage each other. We help each other build businesses, buy real estate. My wife is a contract negotiator. One of our brothers is starting a business down here with a couple of Latin guys, a couple of Spanish guys. He said, "Hey, Drake, could you do me a favor? Can I hire Andrea to be my translator?" He said, "Because my Spanish is good, but it's not business good." And so my wife did the translation for him. Great. Paid her, everything went great. His business is flourishing. That's what we do for each other as passport bros. But Pookie and them with a passport on vacation, oh hell, we ignore them clowns. You can't tell them nothing, and they're emotional. You can't tell a man that's emotional that you can't talk to.
Yeah,
no,
I feel you on that one. I deal with that at work and here, and I only think between here and at work, I get paid to deal with them. Here, I don't get paid, so it's kind of like. But I'm glad that you said that because I always wondered, like, that when you see these dudes who keep complaining, I'm like, why aren't y'all having no groups? Why are you not having a system so where they can get the type of women they want and don't have to deal with all this struggle? But I'm glad that you actually saying that y'all do have that,
Oh yeah.
It's just that like anything else, you know, the loudest people in the room, the most ignorant, always overshadow the people who are actually doing what they're supposed to do.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
my other question, right? Like, because there's been this thing like pro blacks talk about like that the natives don't like you like that, and it's too many of y'all. They'll go against y'all. And what do you think about that statement? Do you think there's a truth to that, or
You see, I'm
is it just,
laughing.
yeah?
Hey,
I get,
you know,
I
you
see
know
the
who
answer.
introduced you. You know who introduced you to a wife or a girlfriend? The natives, the taxi driver dudes, the dudes at the bowling alleys, the dudes at the bar, the bartender, the restaurants, her cousin, her dad. It's nothing for a dad to tell you, I got two beautiful daughters, not because I want to hook them up with the Americans, because they want to know. The dads will see you and say, you live here. Yeah, I do. I got two daughters for you. You can choose either one. I've walked into restaurants where the male restaurant owner noticed that the women were noticing me. They noticed I was married, but noticing me. And he walked over to him. He said, pick one. And these women, these sisters were chocolate, gorgeous sisters. Fine. And he said, pick one. I was like, what do you mean? He said, all of them want you. He said, so you can pick them all or you can pick one. He said, but pick one. And I just, I'm married, bro. Thank you, but I'm good. Thank you very much. My point in saying that is, I'll tell you who they don't want down here. Pookie and Ray Ray. I'm constantly going to this, but vacationer men are liars. I'm gonna say that again. Dudes on vacation are ultimate liars. They come down here, they lie to these women in DR and Pattaya, Thailand, and Singapore, and Japan, and Europe, all throughout South America. Central dudes be lying. Oh, I'm moving here. When a woman was interested in you as a vacationer anyway, but you want to lie. No, I'm here for good. She done failed for you over the 2 or 3 weeks that you guys have been down there. She thought you were a serious dude. And you got your happy ass right back on that plane back to the States, and she never heard from you. And Latin women are extremely ultra sensitive. They cry at they can have strong energy, but they cry at the drop of a hat, dude, and do not hurt a Latin woman's heart, especially when it's uncalled for. And so a lot of times now the fathers and the boyfriends that got the dudes that got a girlfriend's friend, and even my wife's dad, they didn't believe me till I came down the second trip, not to Colombia. I had been down here a few times, but to when we were dating, I met her down here in the mall. We went out on a few dates. I asked, my line was, would you happen to know where the museum is down here? And she said, I didn't know you knew English. She was like, yeah, my wife is fluent. And so next day she took me on a date to the museum and we hung out, blah, blah, blah. We started getting to know each other, nothing serious yet. I came back on my second trip and I met her dad. First thing comes out of his mouth is, there's only one God. I was like, yes, there is, sir. And he said, okay, there's a lot of women here in Colombia, dog. And he was hinting like, you might be another one of those dudes that just lie to Colombian women just to get the sex, and then you really going back home, because that's what foreigners do. You see my point?
Yeah.
We come to these other countries and we lie to these women, hurting hearts, instead of being honest. Now, not every dude is going around doing this, but the Pookies, that's what my point is. Pookie and Ray Ray, Party Boy, he's telling these lies. So my wife's dad was trying to make sure, is he a good dude or is he a Pookie and a Ray Ray just hit a party? So the only time that they trusted me was they were like, my wife Andrea, I'm Andre, she's Andrea, and she says her dad was like, well, when is Andre coming back? She said, he'll be down here for Christmas. Andre's coming for Christmas? Yeah, he'll be here. How long he gonna be here? He's coming like a week before Christmas and leaving like the first week of January. So he's gonna be here for Christmas and New Year. Now he realized, okay, Andre's for real, because he doesn't have a family back home for Christmas. He doesn't have kids for Christmas. I don't have any kids for Christmas. And he doesn't have a New Year's girlfriend back home, since he'll be here with us. In other words, the lies about American men and European men and Canadian men and UK men that have been built up because of Pookie ass, now they can let their guards down because Andre's going to be here for Christmas. But before that, it wasn't my fault. It's Pookie's fault for telling these lies to women in other countries when it's uncalled for to get the sex. That's the part that dudes do down here that differentiate in other countries, that differentiate between the good guys like you all are, like we are, and the guys that just on party mode, man. Them dudes, they mess up a soup sandwich. They will mess up a soup sandwich, like my mother would say.
Yeah, because I've heard other content creators that, you know, they travel back and forth and they say like some of these dudes are just ruining these countries. Their reputation is kind of taking a fall because of those type of dudes. And I like, yeah, I can see that. And I can see, if I can see it on how they act on the video, I can about imagine how they treating these women off the camera. And, you know,
can you imagine? I see somebody in the comments says, the last comment, she said, well, black men have been lying to American women. Black men have been lying to American women. So what do you expect them to be honest on vacation? She's 100% correct. I agree with her. Now, when she says black men, that doesn't mean all black men. I understand what she's saying, eat the meat, spit out the bones. But a particular type of brothers and white dudes, don't get it wrong, white dudes too, who lie to women in the States, come to these other countries. And yes, if you're a liar in the States, you're gonna, for some coochie, you're gonna be lying in another country in the name of some coochie. And they do make it look bad. But fortunately, there's enough of us good dudes that come down here that kind of counteract that behavior pattern that's very well known. Here in Colombia right now, in Medellin, there's a movement based off of what you were just saying, brother, of Colombian women and men that are saying, go back home, Americans. Not because of guys like me, but because of them party Pookies and Ray Rays that's bringing so much, that's throwing money in the air, causing the criminal element to come to certain areas that used to be nice for everyday Colombians to go with their girlfriends and hang out. Now Colombians can't go to certain areas anymore because Pookie and Ray Ray came down and messed it up. Now it's a dangerous area to even go to. So now they're telling that you see posters on the wall and on the freeway and everything saying Americans go back home. And we all know that they're not talking about us. We know exactly who they're talking about. The dudes that come down here and cause trouble.
Yeah. And
all right, Brother Pro Speak. That's good. Let me ask my final questions and maybe conclude this. But thank you for your questionings.
No problem. No problem, because you know, it's just, you know, I've always had those kind of questions, and you know, and I've seen the guys who misrepresent, make the ones who's supposed to be doing what they're supposed to do, make them look bad, which makes the whole movement look bad. And you know, it's just and it's a sad thing how some dudes can make everybody just ruin their reputation. But go ahead, Chaos. I'm sorry, I'm taking.
All right. Let me scroll up and I'm gonna ask my questions. But I noticed Rain Woman did ask a question, but I think he might answer it. Make sure. Okay. She wrote here. So do Pookie and Ray Ray try to run through the foreign women like American? And I think he answered that question. The question is answered. So I don't know if you want to repeat that, but it's fine because I think he answered. So you got to go back. And I think she said she heard what she wrote. I think her question was asked. Yep. And now this other question. What is throwing money in the air supposed to do anyway? Yeah. It's just a show. It's a front. It's letting us see you got it.
The reason why they do it here in South America. Most people don't know this as Americans.
Mhm.
In when you go to the strip club in most countries, they don't throw money in the air. Nobody does that. That's an American thing. You find some maybe in like Singapore and certain areas to where they have American military guys that'll throw money or give the money. Most countries, the women dance on the pole, they come down and they decide who they want to be intimate with as far as pay for play. That's how it is here in Colombia. But you got American pookies coming down, exchanging their dollars for Colombian dollars. Now, just imagine your American dollars is this much, but you exchange it for Colombian dollars. Now it looks like this much. So it looks like you got something, right?
Yep.
And so now you take it and you throw it in the air, not knowing that that was only Colombian. And it probably been American $500. But in that pile, it's with the value of it is up to 2,000 to 3,000. So now you looking like you got a little something. And they take it, they just throw it up in the air and watch all these Colombian people kind of run for it. And I'm looking like, what for? But then I also say this: thank you for doing that, for letting me know not to ever deal with you. Pookies have one tendency. They always show who they are so you don't have to deal with them. It's never an undercover Pookie. You never have to worry about, is that a Pookie or not? They always show their hand.
I mean, they tell on themselves, and really truly, that's how it goes. It's obvious you can tell what type of brother or person you're dealing with by how their outcomes and how they display their characteristics through the public. And obviously, throwing money in a foreign country that is poverty starved, it's not a wise move. It's just like walking around with gold chains in the hood, or walking around with expensive jewelry. You throw money in a established club where there's what, hundreds or maybe close to thousands people. You just pointed and painted a big target. Remember, that's why I know why most of them will lose their life. As you know, you heard stories of that, get robbed or some worse. Is because you're carrying out, and let's be honest, Dre, and it's not gonna be nice. In my opinion, is that there is some of an element of a pookery in some men. I can't say all men, but some men. And if it's not exhibit here in the States, it will exhibit outside the States. And the reason why is because to some men, they said, I got it like that. So why not flaunt it, Because they're trying to show a front, a persona. That's fine. But keep in mind, it can be dangerous.
True.
For a person that's not about that life. You don't be about that life just doing stuff like that to get attention. And the last thing any man should be doing, especially not back home, is draw unwanted attention to unwanted people that really have a certain thinking, a certain view of people outside their circle, outside their culture. That's the last thing you want to do. But people gotta learn the hard way. Let me see if anything else remembers Azrael. Azrael the First asks a very wonderful and actual question.
One of the best ways in which I'm still learning.
What's the best way to learn Spanish?
Of course, you would want to use a Spanish instructor or a course. But if you can't learn Spanish by that way, you can always use some form of app, such as italki is an excellent app. italki is an app in which you have people practice Spanish with each other, italki, or whatever language it is. You have Rosetta Stone is old school, but Pimsleur, you can pay for Pimsleur by the month, $20 a month. Pimsleur is the number one for conversational Espanol for a person to study. It doesn't give you the grammatical, like you don't learn why this word is there, or there. You can learn that later. But if you want to have conversational ordering food at a restaurant or asking for your bill, por favor, la cuenta, por favor, you can actually get those Spanish skills. I'm still studying Espanol, with an English speaking wife in the house. It has not been the English, the easiest. But Pimsleur is an excellent tool in italki. Also, if you're in a Spanish speaking country, they do have a lot of meetup groups at bars where you can meet women because they do language exchange events all throughout South America. There's a lot of language. You got people coming from Europe down here, so you're learning French, you're learning this and that, and plus at the same time you're learning Spanish and you're sharing your English. A lot of times that's how women will hit on you in South America too. If you teach me English, I'll teach you Spanish. And so you like, okay, cool. You exchange your WhatsApp phone number, and now you guys are hanging out dating. So, but that's a lot. That's one of the ways that women flirt with you. You show me English, I'll teach you Spanish. But it is a lot of your Spanish words, man, are a lot of your English words are already Spanish. You didn't even know that. There's over at least 100 everyday English words that we use that are Spanish.
A lot of language, and really, truly, they have apps and they have translators, like little device you could talk.
The Google Translator, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cheap way to get the curve, but if you're going to live in that country, it will be more suited that the more you indulge in the culture, you will eventually go and learn a language. It's going to force you. See, the problem with Dre, with America, we speak English. Every other country speak more than one language. And not only they teach language here in America, but let's be honest. Majority of us Americans are not going to use our language unless we're very adulterate and culturate amongst other cultures that speak different language. How I know, as you know, where I live at or used to live at, if we're not around people that speak another language only, and we have to be forced to understand and speak just so we could have a communication, you're not going to learn language. I've taken Spanish not only in college, but in high school. I cannot use it because I'm not really fully indulgerate into the I say amongst the culture stuff with the people. Yeah. I'm not around people that's using it enough where I'm have to be forced to really not only understand what you're saying, but to recite it. That's how you learn language. Teaching it is one thing, but if you're not really utilizing it enough, you're never going to learn it. Most people that are born speaking another language, it's a native tongue to their families, to their mother and fathers. They eventually break out of it once they are here indulged in the United States English system. But they'll still have remnants to speak that other tongue because they're around people that speak it. Once you cut them off completely, I guarantee it's going to be hard for them to understand that language. Because like anything, it is muscle. You have to use it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately here in America, we're not really trained enough to really not only grasp, but use other languages personally. So you're never going to learn it. Now, if you live in a foreign country for a year or two, I guarantee you, there are going to be some parts that speak English, but majority, when you go outside the skirts in the rural areas, you got to learn the language. That's what language is at. In inner cities, English is the predominant language. How we know? Because we look at city structure here in America and outside. If it's not structured, industrialized, where the West already got the influence, it's going to be hard for you to find any environment that speak English. And English right now throughout the world is, I think, 80% of the language still in the world. So anywhere where you go, whether United States territory in certain parts of the country or just a city near you, there's someone that's going to be speaking English because how the colonization worked, they colonized the world, so they had to force people to speak these languages. And people had to adapt and change while learning their actual language. Even to the point some don't even speak their language off, depending on some parts you go. They speak English. Don't be so abrupt that if you're trying to learn, you're going to have to be around these people that speak it fully, head on. That's the way you're going to learn it. You could take a little class, do the recitation, all that stuff, but then unless you're indulgent amongst the culture of people that speak completely, you're never going to learn it. Now, he wrote other things. Yeah, I know, Rain Woman. I just want his perspective, opinion. Yep. And Joe writes, right, learning the culture, the language, and what you can and can't do those countries. Yep. And here I have friends in Argentina, and my parents are immigrants. I get along better with people outside of the states. Yeah, obviously, if you speak the language, you better. I'm going to Germany in December too. Okay. Well, like I
Wow, we'll be
said,
there in November.
oh, you going in November? Oh, excellent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember
we're going to
the
be spending a month in Europe.
Oh, that's That's excellent. That's good. That's very good. Yeah, man. The more you spend in those countries fully where they speak the language only, the better off you're gonna learn. I mean, you could sit there, take the Rosetta Stone, all these special courses and stuff, but unless you're indulged in the culture, you're not gonna learn that language. I'm sorry. They'll tell you that.
Even because after you learn your basics, now you got to learn the slang of whatever location you're in.
More work. More work.
So it's constantly a learning process, and then you got to learn the curse words, all those things. But hey, you do because if somebody cussing you out in Spanish and you trying to cuss them out, take it from me in Spanish and English, yeah, man, you both looking at each other like whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
No insults exchanged.
Yeah, and Raymond Watt snapping out. Yeah. Now my question, here in America, we have I think almost pushing 75 to almost over 7% baby mamas in America in general. In Colombia, is I'm not sure if it's the highest, it's 84. My important question to you: is the baby mama rate really the problem here in America, or is this in general? Or is baby mama how we have to look at it as men, modern or whatever? Is it really a culture thing on how we deal with baby mamas? Is a big picture, because if Colombia has 84% baby mama, we could say the Colombian don't have no problem. You've been there and you see a problem. So I'm saying, what is the difference between their baby mama rate outside America than here in America?
America's not a common law, because America's not a common law marriage country. You're a perfect example. You got common law states that if you live with somebody a certain amount of time, whether you got kids or not, is as if you're married. You got certain common law states. Colombia is a common law country. So even if you're with somebody for up to 2 years, y'all living on the same roof, y'all talking wife and husband talk, y'all having kids like y'all married, even though you aren't technically married, and she is technically under the Census Bureau a single mother, they've been living together for 15 years. You'll see a single mother with the ring on her finger, and they're talking about, well, my husband, but they haven't walked down one altar. But since it's a common law country, all the rights of all the rights that Andre and I have, a lot of common law couples have at the same time. So when you sit back, you see the single mother rate of 84% in Colombia. Yes, you have a lot of baby mamas, but you have a lot of baby daddies that are still in that same house, and they're considered common law, not just shacking up, or, well, she was a single mother and nobody lives in the house with her. You have many mothers that are like that, but you have a lot of common law couples down here. Like they got so many common law couples down here that the father and the wife still are together. I mean, the mother and the father are still together. That when we got married, they still ask my wife, "Oh, so you're married?" She's like, "Yeah." "Are you married? Married?" And she's like, "I'm married. Married." You have to emphasize on the fact that you are not common law. You are a real married couple, with the whole ceremony and process. But in the States, when somebody say they're a baby mama, that means that the dad is probably, not living in a home and he's outside the picture, or he's a part-time in the child's life. That's what we say about in the States. So when we say 80% or 72% in the States, baby mamas, most of those are just single mothers just trying to make it through. But here in Colombia, you'll see 84, but that a huge percentage of that is just because they're common law marriages. And on paper, both of them are single, but under common law laws, they actually have all the marriage rights of a married couple. So they're like, if we got all the rights, why even get married? Because we got everything that a married couple got anyway.
Yeah, it's another way of saying, no, she might be a mom, but it's not no problem because there's some rights where it doesn't hurt the men in the long run. if she a baby mama.
That's true,
She's
too.
not gonna do certain things to I guess exploit the man, because
I mean,
either
child
he's
support
with
is like at the most you'll see $60 a month at the most. That's
at the mo-
stretching it.
yes, right.
That's at the most $60 a month.
Yeah,
It's nothing.
all right. And he writes, those women will still stay or still say with their child's father, though that's the difference. I think he said they will still stay. I think he missed a T. Okay. And Coco del Toro was the first profane word that I've learned. Okay. Oh yeah. Yeah. What else? I'm trying to think. I think that's all the questions. Besides, the main question that's put in the title is Modern Women is terrible. Is flying out the solution? Your question and your answer, Dre.
Say that again. Or Modern Women.
Modern Women today is terrible. Is flying out
Yes.
the solution?
Yes.
That is the question.
Modern women are the female equivalent to the embarrassment that Pookie and Ray Ray give to modern men. Modern women are embarrassing. You women that brag about your education and how much money you make, it's embarrassing. If there was going to be some braggadocious, let the men talk like that. Be living your femininity with your success. It is embarrassing. This feminism that's going on in the United States. And then this is the funny part, the backfire of the modern woman. The modern woman supported the LGBTQ movement. And now the LGBTQ movement are the same ones that's trying to redefine women. Well, modern women was like, wait, we were the ones that supported you. Yeah, now we want to be you. We don't just want your support. We want to be you. And now it backfired on the modern women are so embarrassing. They don't know how to be feminine. They are so mouthy, so emotional, so irrational. You can't teach them anything. You can't say anything to them. They move the goalposts all the time. I'm not saying that the modern man is any better in the United States, but since the topic is about and the question was about modern women, yes, modern women make real good women in the United States look bad. There are some amazing, beautiful, gorgeous, fun, supportive, happy, peaceful women in the United States, and they never get their shine because modern women with their idiocy always seems to want to take the mic and act a dang fool when it comes to how women are seen in the United States. And I want you ladies to know how you are seen in other countries. They see all what we do here. We get American news here and they watch and they had a jaw just drop like, they do mass deletions in America. They delete babies in schools. They delete people in Walmarts. We get that on the news down here. If y'all think that only in America, all the bad news of women fighting on Instagram and on YouTube, that you don't see. Dude, I see Colombians actually look at these sisters right here. Look at these two white girls right here. These Americans right here. They so rude and disrespectful to themselves. So how are they going to be respectful when they come to our country? Go home, Americans. We saw you on the news. Yeah. Yeah, modern women are they making women that want a good man and a good family and a good relationship. They making it hard. Like I always say, the era of finding a needle in a haystack is over. Now for a man to find a good woman in the United States is like a man looking for a golden needle in a stack of rusty needles. I'll say that again. It's not looking for, I found my needle in the haystack. No. Now men have to go through rusty needles to find a golden needle. It's so hard because of feminism. Modern women, independent women, all of this mess. It's hurting you, ladies. It is hurting y'all. I don't want to compete for a man. I'm the prize. I ain't got to bring nothing to the table. Black women, you have been bringing something to the table since we got off the ship. Name a time when you didn't have to bring something to the table that supported the family unit. Now y'all say y'all ain't got to bring nothing to the table to support the family unit, not just the man, because if you got your man, even if y'all ain't got no kids yet, y'all still a family if y'all doing it right. But y'all too, I ain't got to bring nothing to the table but my looks and my BBLs. and my cumbrellas, eyelashes. Ladies, y'all do yourself. Y'all hurting the good women. Women with the big mouth, all you gossipy women, women with the bonnets, women that wear clothes, wear pajamas to the grocery store, all you women that wear sandals, that wear flip flops all the time. You're embarrassing good women that want to be feminine, that want a family. Men don't know who to choose from now, because every time they think that's a good woman, here you come with this bonnet to the grocery store. With cold eyes, you ain't clean your eyes out. All these little things are hurting women getting good men. I kid you not. And I'm a good man that's telling you that. And I'm a good man that used to be the bad man. So I can tell you from both perspectives. I know what it's like to be a Pookie and a Ray Ray, and I know what it's like to be a good man. I know what Pookie and Ray Ray look for in a woman, and I know what good men look for in a woman. And all you bonnet wearing women in public, you doing it bass backwards, and you gonna have you a cat collection. Think I'm playing. Even for those of you that have a man right now, if you have a man right now, don't mean you're gonna have a man forever. Because if you ain't showing no love to you, he gonna come to the realization you cannot love him. And you may have had him for 15 years, but let him get a passport, and you ain't gonna see him for another 15 days.
Okay. All right. And I think Azra wrote one last question. What are the best months to travel to Colombia?
Oh, me personally, if you're a black male or female, I would say the month of August. That's when we have the continental celebration here in Cali, Colombia, of Afro-Colombians. And if you ever got a chance to celebrate down here, the Afro-Colombian celebration, over 300,000 brothers and sisters from around the world come to this city and celebrate our African roots. Free concerts, free every food. I mean, the women, all the clothing that the men and the women wear are ordered straight from Africa to make sure that those brothers and sisters get that money and not somebody else the other brother get that money. The food, the cuisine. If you ain't never had no Afro-Colombian food, you think your soul food in the United States is something. Your soul food in the United States will bust your chest open. But soul food in other countries where your brothers and sisters, the Brazilian soul food, the Peruvian soul food, Ecuadorian, the Mexican real soul food, your brothers and sisters from Panama and Colombia soul food. Oh man, that's healthy, fresh vegetables, man. August for a black person in Colombia is wonderful because you come down and ain't nothing but brothers and sisters from all over the world down here. You like, I gotta come back again. Another great time to come is to is in February, the Barranquilla Festival, right off the Atlantic Ocean. Is the world's largest Latin-speaking festival. It is humongous. The world's largest Portuguese-speaking festival. That's the one in Brazil. Remember, Brazilian is the Latin. They're Latin, but they speak Portuguese. A lot of people don't realize that there are 5 languages under the auspices of being Latin. French, I think it's, get me right, guys, French, Spanish, Portuguese, and I forget the last 2. There are 5 major languages under the umbrella of being a person of Latin descent. And so the number one of Portuguese descent is in Brazil, but the number one festival for us of Latin descent, brothers and sisters, the Barranquilla Festival in February every year. Great celebration. And then after the festival, you could just take a bus for 2 hours straight down to Cartagena. There's so many sisters that's going down to Cartagena. I've met so many American sisters that live in Cartagena, Colombia now. So many sisters live down there. You live in the beach life. You live in a fraction of the price that you live in the United States. And Cartagena has a historical part, but the other part of Cartagena looks like South Beach, Miami. So if you want to know what Cartagena looks like, it looks just like South Beach. and you can enjoy it at a fraction of the price. You got sisters coming down here and ain't going back to the States because they like, I'm down here with my Afro-Colombian brothers, and I'm living my American, living my life online with an online job or online business, and they're living at a fraction of the price, but still living that South Beach life.
That's what's up. And last comments I'm reading here, I see who wrote here? It mentioned damn. Oh, Rain Woman writes, I'll put up the board. That's why reset. That's why I don't get the whole softcore era. It's like just being feminine. Yeah. Imagine being a non-American watching Will and Jada. Yeah. And new guy here. Shalom, all the greetings from Arkansas. Thank you. Jada. And one Joe Swan writes about Sexy Red out here. Yeah, there's a lot of them that likes it raw. And the last comment. I am going to lie. I might end up with Spanish women. They're nicer, and I love Mexican food. My Dominican friends used to see me go through it with the sisters. They would say, "Dang, you need Spanish." Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Once you get to
that's pretty much it.
Go ahead. 600 million people. Just learning Spanish, you have access to 600 million people that you didn't have access to. Just by learning Spanish.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. All right. Any closing remarks, Dre from Love Crossing Borders?
Me personally, get your passports. Everything that I said for men and women to experience.
I'm surprised they didn't pull the blue book out. Let's wave the blue book one time.
You know what? My passport, I usually keep it right there too. But at the end of the day,
might as well for the camera. Everybody say yeah.
You say pull it up on the camera.
Yeah, might as well, man. Because everybody say everybody's reciprocal. They like to see things, man. We don't want to be talking about things and then they don't see it. Make sure you guys hit the like button and share this and become a member. Join the channel. And if you're not subscribed to Chaos Rain Show, what are you waiting for? Hit that red button. Hit that top notification bell for all uploads and live streams here on this channel.
All right, last words.
Yeah.
Get your passport. This book will literally change your life. We've had books that change our lives, whether it be our spiritual books, whether it be books of education. This book will literally change your life. I always tell people, come prove me wrong. I'm not talking about you passport pookie dudes that's coming down for vacation. You're a vacationer, I understand. I'm not talking about you ladies that go to Jamaica and get your back blew out. Hey, or go to DR and fall in love and get your back blew out. Or come to Cartagena and get your back blew out. You're a vacationer. I understand. We're talking about people that really want to change their lives. You're tired of what the system in the United States is doing, even though you love the United States like I do. You're looking at your other brothers and sisters leave the United States in droves. Yes, droves. While they're letting in immigrants from the back end to replace all those that are leaving. You catch that? Get your passport. Get you some tattoos on it. Get some stamps. Go to Cuba. Yes, Americans go to Cuba. We just got back. You can enjoy your brothers and sisters in Cuba. Go to the Caribbean. There's some islands like Aruba that you can't get to without a passport. Belize. Go see your brothers and sisters in Belize. These are your people. These are all your cousins. Go to Brazil. These are all your cousins. There are more black people in Brazil, 14.5 million compared to the 13.5 million in the United States. We got 3.5 million to almost 5 million Afro-Colombians down here that a lot of you didn't even know that existed. Get your passport. You can get it expedited so you can get it so you don't have to wait the 4 months to get your passport. You come on down here to Colombia. You go get your Colombia football jersey. Go see you some soccer games. You can enjoy yourself, have a good time, build a whole new life. Buy property down here. Invite family members. We as people of color, I'm going to end with this. You can't name an era in human history that we of people of color haven't migrated for more opportunities. Whether we migrated from South America up into the Egypts and created Egypt, Babylon, and all those countries, whether we migrated to Ethiopia whether we migrated to Asia, and now you got those that are all the way up into upper portions of Europe. Black people have migrated. And now you see so many locations such as the Philippines, such as parts of Asia, such parts of India, which is Asia, with a tan. Because we were migrators. We migrated all the way through Europe with the Mongols. And so they got a tan all the way through Europe, all the way to North America, through the Canadas and the Indians. They got a tan all through the Mexico with the Mayans, all the way through South Americas with the Incas and the Aztecs. They got a tan because Black people have always been a migratory creature. When the Reformation time came after slavery, we migrated to different locations and we became sharecroppers. When we got tired of dealing with that sharecropping, we migrated up north in droves. That's how a lot of our families got to New York. I'm the first generation northerner of my family. Rest of my family is Tennessee, Alabama, Kentucky. I'm first generation of a migration. So the Passport Bro movement is the latest of Black people doing what we've always done throughout human history: migrate and spread the opportunity of advancement of our people. So while you think of Passport Bros is about you ladies, it's not about you. It's about what we have always done within ourselves as Black people, whether it be male or female, and that's migrate.
And you know, it is the right time now because the world is officially now globalized. That it wouldn't hurt for most people, Americans, to travel around, if you can, and take a stress off America a little bit. I tell people many times, while the United States reserve currency still teetering, I mean, it would be nice to see what else is out there, for our betterment, our mental health. Besides the physical health, the mental health will do us a great service. That's how I look at it. But like I said, Dre, we're gonna do this again soon. Down the line, hell, we might talk about some other countries. Because I know you're right there in the heart of Colombia with all the nice mamacitas and I'd like to know about other countries. But we'll talk in future broadcasts. To talk about some other countries. Because you have traveled and. After you travel, you about to travel to Europe, so you have another experience. So can't wait. Thank you again. And we will do this again soon. And like always, guys, you know where to find them. Love Crossing Borders. Simple to find. Thank you, Andre.
All right, anytime. You have a good one.
All right, take care. All right, and y'all know where to support the channel. Last few comments as I'm looking here. Written by Jay. One day, God Almighty, Yah, will put the quote of my mind, and I will not forget it. A known virtuous woman has about as much value as a wooden penny. At the best, detriment of worse. Chaos reign. Yes. Fact, they are going to let the immigrants replace Americans, whether we leave or not. And that's fact. Yeah, and they've always been important people, Rain Woman. They're never going to stop importing people because import people is money to the United States. That's why I think why they give foreign aid to these countries, because that's another form of currency. They give you this money, in return, you give me bodies. It's actually even exchanged, if you think about it. The average fee felon who can afford it go to other countries to get their out because their reputation caught up with them. They desperate for someone to remove the And Joe, great show. I'll sub, bro. Super. Yep. You always on point. Thank you again, boss. Yes. And he got his. Who is Kev? Kev. Kev, this is the closing part of the show. What's on your
Oh yeah,
mind?
I know. So, sorry, I didn't get on here earlier, man. But yeah, just a quick thing, man. again, the reason why so-called black men in America are getting pushed back for international and interracial dating is simply because the narrative is supposed to be that you're apologize for not being both super rich and that any
Mhm.
character flaw that other people have outside of you is a result of
Mhm.
you either quote unquote not being man enough or not having enough game. And we're learning more that they're simply bullshit. So I mean, hey, that's the reason why you're going to see a lot of the negative pushback. It's not about any type of real concern. It's just about trying to tone police and regulate, um,
Mhm.
those that happen for ourselves. So that's all it is.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, as you know, I'm not really the advocate of pushing certain things, in my opinion, but I understand now, why people do what they do. To me, like I said, black man's gonna still do what it is in the best interest at the end of the day, whether we like it or not, So, uh, like
Yep,
I said,
yep. That's all
like
I
I
want to
said,
say, man.
like I said, oh, like I said, it is soul searching, and let's keep it real. This country done black people bad service at the end of the day. You get me? And because of that, you gotta get the stress off one way or the other. I think it's more fitting, in my opinion. Yeah, that's how I look at it. And I see, but that's it, Kev.
Yep, that's it. Yeah, that's what I gotta say, man. I'm hop off now. So
All right, cool, cool. All right, thank you, thank you, thank you. Wait. I got somebody else on here. Let me see if this device is going to connect. His device is not connected. All right, I'll let you up, leader. Y'all guys come in at y'all can come up when my guest came up, man. Y'all come up now, and I'm
What's up, man? I came in
What's-
late, man. I was in
all
and out.
right, all right,
Man.
yeah,
You about
yeah.
to wrap up? I know you've been on for a
What
second.
I had to conclude because I was here for a good minute. But what's on your mind, D. Darrell? I'll let you speak.
Yeah, I wanted to just chat with you a little bit because I know you sent me, a email and everything. So
Okay.
I just was out and about, man. I had to do some stuff for the business and had to buy some
Mhm.
stuff and got a busy
Mhm.
day tomorrow. But I just wanted to comment, man. We talking
Okay.
about, you know, um, passport brothers and people coming, traveling out and doing
Mhm.
things,
Mhm.
I don't really have a problem with men traveling out. You know what I'm saying? My issue
Yeah.
is that is the negative thing about the women that, you know, in our community or in the States. To me, you can do that without trying to bring down the women that you claim you don't want to be with anymore. That's my biggest issue. I mean,
Okay.
go where you celebrate it. I mean, if you feel like going to these places, you're gonna get better or whatever. I mean, I don't agree with it, but as far as thinking these other women are better because they have their own, set of ulterior motives.
Mhm.
I mean, they trying to get green cards, they trying to get money. I just entered into the like the store that I got, man. We're now providing money where people send money to
Okay.
foreign countries and stuff. Like, there's a
Mhm.
company I'm partnering with, and man, it's a lot of men sending money to Guatemala, Honduras, to South Korea, the Korean Philippines. It's a lot of simps out here, man.
Mhm. Wait. What happened? I give him a second to come back. I see the big super chat. I'm looking at how much is in currency. It looks pretty big, or but I appreciate Andre from Love Crossing Borders for the pretty heavy super chat. I appreciate it. And this is a high value man for those who don't know. You get me? That don't know. Just saying. Appreciate the super chat, brother. Okay. Well, it looks like he ain't come back. So that will be it. Oh yeah, no, he's back. He's back. Make sure he's back. All right, yeah, he's back. All right.
Yeah, man, and no, I apologize for that.
Mm-hmm.
But what I wanted to note, man, it's a lot of men sending money to places all over the world, man. And you know, that's the thing people not talking about. You know, they need to just be honest about it. I mean, you got people sending money to Brazil, Colombia. I ain't talking about just measly $200. I'm talking a grand here, $2,000. I mean, it's guys. There's a market for that where people are, they're spending money to send money across seas.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reality. I mean, this shit is like, it's not just about, it's you just going there and finding this great, wonderful person. I mean, it's transactional.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to just be. I just think that the guys, listen, they're just not being honest about the whole dynamic of those relationships. They trying to sell this thing to black men that you're just gonna go there. It's gonna be paradise, easy going. You're gonna easily find this beautiful woman or whatever that's gonna be feminine and cultured, and all that stuff. But I mean, a lot of these women are poor, man. These women are trying to survive. They trying to help their family, and it's transactional.
But D-Darrell, cause he wrote in the comment, you know me, I'm not advocate of transactional things, but let's say it's transactional. Is it really a bad thing? Because if men are transaction here in America, I mean, what's the difference if we had to go there? Personally, I'm not advocating for it, but what's the really difference?
What's the difference?
Personally, yeah, what the difference? I mean, because like I said, in America, there's some situations you go to transaction with the woman. Okay, let's say the dude does want to deal it, and they across another country, and let's say they want transaction over there. I'm trying to see what really is difference, because me, I'm not really a big advocate of transactional situations.
Okay,
but
well,
let's say people are choose that. Yeah,
I'm gonna say this. The difference is what's what's the transaction and what you're getting out of it. That's the difference. And the thing about it, the difference is that for a westernized American woman, particularly let's say black women, right? If the relationship is transactional, she looking at, potentially you paying some bills, maybe getting her hair done, go shopping, take me out on dates, things like that, as opposed to the women in these countries, they using that money to survive. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That money going to it's a difference. They have more of a scarcity mindset as it relates to that. They trying to get green cards. I mean, the guy was saying that, I'm wrong about the green cards and the money sent. That's a lie. Because I'm seeing it with my own eyes at my own store. I see this. I see black men coming in there sending $2,000 to Colombia. I see black men coming in there and other Hispanic men sending $600 a month for Maria and Griselda. And the reason why I'm quoting those names, because you have to have the name, you have to have the correct spelling of the name, the correct spelling of the address, phone number, and because it has to be correct, because when they have to show their identification, their whatever their ID is, and if one word is if one letter or one word is misspelled, you can't get the money. You got to resend it. So I'm just saying this is real. Like, listen, I'm not here to tell why they sending it. What you think they sending it for? They sending it because they requested it. I mean, listen, every relationship has some form of transaction. Okay? Marriages are transactional to a certain extent. When you engage, if you're dating, there's you're going to have a level of transaction. But What changes it is the person genuinely for you, gonna be loyal to you, gonna stand by you, and gonna be with you, as opposed to her just strictly draining your resources.
Mm.
You know,
Mm.
and that's the difference. And these women are in, like, say for instance,
Mm.
if you ever saw 90 Day Fiance, when they would go to when they
Oh
had the
God,
Americans.
Mary. Deidre, not this show. I don't watch that show. My thing with a lot of these TV shows, personally, I'm not sure if you watch it. I don't watch it. That all these are scripted, including
It
Love and
is
Hip Hop.
scripted. A lot of it is scripted.
At this point, I don't want to use them as reference points of what is reality. Personally, just me.
Okay. Well, let's take that out. Let's take that out. Okay.
Yeah,
So
and I want you to keep it short because I do want to end the show because I don't
okay.
want to push it to 4 hours, and I want.
Yeah, no, my I'm good. So I just wanted to kind of make those points, man. I'm not gonna hold you.
Okay.
But I'm just gonna say this, man. Like I was saying, I just wish that these guys be more realistic and tell the truth and not try to paint a false narrative. That's all. You know, if you out there tricking, just say you tricking. O'Shea said he tricking. Ain't nobody tripping. He tricking. He tricking in Africa. Ain't nobody tripping about that. So what's the difference? He got Austin Holloman. He up in there tricking in Ethiopia and Kenya and everywhere else. So what's the difference? But yeah, man, I'm out, man. I just wanted to have a little fun with you.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate it, man. I wish you came here early when it opened up. It'd been better conversation. But, you know, like I said, you're busy, man. You're a working man, nonetheless. So I do appreciate you came up regardless.
All
You
right,
get me?
man. Peace.
Yeah, because this is a really interesting conversation. We should have this conversation, Deidre. And,
Right.
no stranger to the conversation. But like I said, next time we'll talk more about this. Is that cool?
All right, man. Peace.
All right. Thank you. All right. I want a truly virtuous woman because she contributes to her husband just as he contributes to her. They take care of each other. Ephesus 5:22/32, Proverbs chapter 31, and 1 Timothy 2:1/15. Ephesians. I think they pronounce Ephesians. Yeah, no, Andre. Yeah. All right. Wait, one more comment. If a woman loves you, she would honor the scriptures I mentioned. She will honor you as well. It's a covenant with God Almighty, Yah ordained order of approval. I have 2 passports, brothers who I had really interesting situation travels. Interesting. All right. And I think that's pretty much it. All right, guys. This was a long one, but a good one. A very good one. I hope I find your response in the comment section after this, if you survive this lengthy live stream, to hear your thoughts and opinions of this stream. The links. Wait, one more. Oh yeah, one more. Post it. The links to follow me are following. You can follow me on Twitter at ChaosReign7. Also, add me as a friend on Facebook, Eric Reign on Facebook. You could also follow me on Rumble, CReign23 on Rumble. And last but not least, actually not last, there's one more thing. Join Discord service of the Chaos Reign Show as well. As you know, the Chaos Reign Show Discord is in the description of this channel and is in the description of these video and other videos, including in the chat room once you go to the replay of this. Join Discord. If you have issues with Discord, hit me up in the comment section of this video. And also, become a member of the Chaos Reign Show. 2 tiers. 1, enter the chaos, enter the chaos. Second tier, Chaos Uncut. $2.99 for the first tier, $7.99 other tier. Become. I'll put it in the description for you, bro. Speaks. Proverbs 11:22, 14:1, 21, semicolon 9, 21, colon 19, and 31 colon also Ecclesiastics 7 colon 26/28. As you know, this man is a scripture person. I think he gave you some reference to look at for those that are very in tune to the Bible. Mostly the King James Version Bible, not these other Bibles, but that's not a story. You've been showing out, huh? Yeah, I've been showing out a little bit. And sorry, but this is a dude that has no clue about traveling, or has. He's thinking of, he'd rather pay here than overseas with better view of marriage and living. Yeah. All right, guys, that's it for me. Like I said, thank you for watching or listening. Make sure you hit the like on your way in, on your way out. If you want to donate, the super chat's always available, like always. The Cash App, $ Chaos Rain 8 Rain. And I'm looking forward to hear your response in the comment section. Thank you for listening. Until next time, Chaos Rain.